William Brown is suing his daughter, 20-year-old Tabitha Brown, for the return of child support she fraudulently collected.
Order. All rise. That's case number 328 on the calendar in the matter of Brown versus Brown.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat.
Mr. Brown, this is your daughter, and I'm sure you have some reason that you perceive as a good one for suing her. I'm not talking about the legitimacy of your claim. I'm talking about the fact that you are suing her at all. But this is what I perceive to be the situation. Tell me if I'm mistaken. Pursuant to your divorce decree, you are supposed to pay for your daughter's education if she is a full-time student.
Correct.
Is there a finite age when that stops?
As long as she is continuing to attend school, she is eligible to receive child support up until the age of 21.
21.
Yes.
And according to you, you were under the impression that your daughter was a student continuously after
Correct.
she graduated from high school. How old are you now?
I'm 20 years old.
In fact, your daughter was not attending school on a full-time basis after she graduated from high school, but took off, according to her, a couple of semesters because she had a child and she had to regroup. And you didn't know that she wasn't attending school. You continued to pay the child support, and you want her to return to you the money that you paid while she was not in school.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you concede you were not in school.
I was not in school for 2 terms.
2 terms is how many months?
It was a total of 5 months.
And what was your child support each month?
$343.20 a month.
Did you tell your father you were not in school?
No, in fact, we haven't even spoken for about 5 years.
So you didn't tell him that you were not in school?
No.
So you tell me, Ms. Brown, why you think you don't owe him this money?
My father hasn't been in my life for about 5 years.
This is not Dr. Phil. This is a court.
The only reason why I did not tell him is because the first term I took off was because I was due to have my child at the end of that term. I would miss finals, which means I would have to retake the classes. And in order for me not to have to pay for those classes twice, I decided to take the term off. And the second term I took off was because I was recouping from my cesarean section.
I understand your reasons.
Yes.
But, you know, we're dealing with a contract, so you have to pay him back for those 5 months. My question to you, Mr. Brown, is why would you sue her over this money?
When she originally graduated from high school in May of '09, she was eligible to be off, per the state requirements, up to 4 months for a summer break. The school that she eventually did start, the next term actually started in July. She did not start that term. I did not find out that she was not attending school until October of that year.
Just a second.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, your daughter says she took off 2 terms. She said it was 5 months. That's not my question. My question is, under the terms of your divorce decree, she owes you the money. I assume that you've been paying child support for a long time, right?
Correct, 10 years.
As well you should. She's your child.
Yes.
I don't understand why you're suing her.
We do not have any contact.
Did you think that this would help?
No, I didn't think this would help, but I thought that this might enable her to realize the responsibility of her actions.
Why suing her, do you believe, would suggest to a 20-year-old who has already made the mistake of having a baby when she's not financially or emotionally prepared to be a parent? I assume you live with your mother?
I do.
Now you're back in school, so I assume your mother takes care of your baby.
She does when I'm at school, yes.
Of course. So because of your irresponsibility, your mother is now taking on the responsibility again of being a parent. So your suing her is not going to make her more responsible.
No, it's not, Your Honor.
So then you just have to explain to me, Mr. Brown, something that I can understand as to why over, at most, $1,700 or $1,800, you're suing a child. How many children do you have?
I have 2 children.
How old are they?
One is 23 and one is 20.
And the 23-year-old is your brother?
Yes, my half-brother. We don't speak.
You don't speak.
I do not speak to any of his family.
The 23-year-old boy you see?
Occasionally.
What's occasionally, Mr. Brown?
He was in Germany in the military, and he's recently got back, but he has had problems with his marriage and his life.
Well, prior to his going to Germany, did you live with him?
Yes, I raised him.
And then he went to Germany, and then he came home, and now you have little contact.
That is correct.
So, Mr. Brown, you have 2 children with whom you have no contact. Did you ever say, maybe I better look inside myself?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, again, I'm not a therapist, but I have children. I actually speak to most of them on at least a weekly basis. Some of them I speak to twice a day, and they're twice her age. If I wasn't in contact with all my children, I don't think that I could justify it and say there's something wrong with my children as a parent. So we come back to the fact that you think your daughter may owe you money, but it sounds to me as if she's trying, despite some missteps, to put herself back on track. Why would you interfere with that?
Your Honor, when I found out that she wasn't going to school, I decided that I would go ahead and file the objection to stop the child support, which happened. I told my wife and myself that if she went back to school and left well enough alone and did not reinstate the child support, that I would call it a wash, that it would be even. But under the direction of whoever's influencing her life, she decided to go ahead and stick it to me again for more child support.
Mr. Brown, what kind of stick it to you again? She's 20 years old. She went back to school. That's why your children don't talk to you, sir. You have a new wife?
Yes.
That's why your children don't talk to you, because you refer to it as sticking it to you again. You're supposed to pay child support if you have children, sir.
I understand that, and I've been paying regularly and on time, no deadbeat dad, for 10 years.
Big deal! So what? You think that you deserve a medal for that, Mr. Brown?
No.
You don't deserve a medal for that. And if I had a child who made a misstep and became pregnant, took time off to have a baby, had a cesarean, says, all right, maybe I can turn my life around. I'm still only 20 years old and I'm going to go back to school and finish. As a parent, I would say, what can I do to help you?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She's the child. You're the parent. You're supposed to make it work, not the child. It gets very lonely as you get older, sir.
And later today,
Something's wrong with him. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether he takes prescription medication, non-prescription medication. I'm just telling you that there's something wrong with him.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. William Brown says his daughter, Tabitha Brown, owes for the return of child support she fraudulently collected.
Okay,
Your Honor,
you have to pay him because the law says you have to pay him.
this man demanded a DNA test after 20 years.
Listen to me. There's a reason why his children don't talk to him. But this is a court. A court gave your father the parameters of his child support obligation. Is he now paying you again?
Yes, he is, but he's in
Correct.
arrears.
Well, then the arrears will eventually be paid. You
Your
think that
Honor.
this is going to make it better?
Well, I was just going to tell you that they have credited him some of the money that he is allegedly.
Oh, well, that's important. How
Yes.
much have they credited him, Miss Brown?
They credited him in June and May a total of $234.89.
And then the other,
Stand up.
in July, they credited him $234.89 out of that month for July. But they also credited him another $171 in June.
Did you receive those credits, sir?
No, ma'am, they reapplied them when she reinstated the child support.
What do you mean they reapplied them?
They kept the money when she reinstated child support. They applied that to the current new child support. I have the 10-year summary right here with this year's right.
I'd like to see it, please.
I have a page showing that in July, when they reinstated his child support, that his balance was actually $234 in a credit.
I got
so
it.
he didn't have to
I
pay
got
that
it.
money.
Miss Brown, I think that your father makes a terrible mistake to bring this lawsuit. I think that in the long term, he has 2 children and he has no communication with them for whatever reason. It's his fault. If you don't speak to a child, it's your fault, not the child's fault. And he has another child that evidently after he raised doesn't speak to him, which doesn't speak well of his parenting. But my hands are tied from a legal perspective, because from a legal perspective, if you were not in school on a full-time basis, you were not entitled to collect money from him. I don't think that you owe him what he would like, which is $2,700. I think that you owe him $1,400, and I'm giving you credit for what you say was deducted by child support. Mr. Brown gets very lonely as you get older, sir. How many wives have you had?
2 wives.
He's on his 3rd marriage.
You've had 2 ex-wives.
No. I remarried my first wife.
When?
5 years ago, which is what stopped communication with my daughter. Not my choice.
Just a second. She's the child. You're the parent. You're supposed to make it work, not the child, Mr. Brown. And your daughter's got to give you $1,400. I think it's a big mistake if you take it. What I would say to her is, take that money. You have a boy or a girl?
I have a girl.
Take that money, put it in a bank account for my granddaughter. Let it grow until it's time for her to go away to college, and then tell her it's from her grandfather. She's responsible to give you the money. You're going to be a very lonely old man, Mr. Brown. That's all.
Party's excused. You may step out.
He's a deadbeat. He has nothing to do with me because of his wife.
It wasn't my choice to cut off communication with my daughter. It was her mother's.
I decided that if he was going to be with that woman, that he should not have contact with me because she treats me badly.
My daughter has been brainwashed by her mother since we got our divorce 10 years ago.
I haven't seen this man in 5 years.
I don't think I'll be a lonely old man.
I've tried to reconnect with him many times, and he has nothing to do with it.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I hope he just leaves me alone.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Wright versus Thomas. Step forward.
Delight Wright is suing her ex-boyfriend, Gregory Thomas, for a $1,000 loan and for the cost to store his Jaguar.
Mr. Thomas, what year Jaguar is parked in Miss Wright's garage?
Well, Your Honor, I had it towed there.
I asked you for a year. What year Jaguar is parked in her garage?
2001.
In whose name is the car? Look at me. In whose name is the car?
Donna's.
And who is that?
A friend of mine.
And what are you doing with Miss car?
I was buying it from them, Your Honor.
What do you mean you were buying it from him?
I'm buying it from them, and it tore up on me.
What does that mean? You were buying it from them and it tore up on you. I don't understand that. English, please.
It tore up on me, Your Honor.
Shh. English. You buy a car, you don't buy a car. I don't understand what you mean. You were buying a car.
I bought it, and it tore up on me.
All right, maybe I'm not. What does tore up mean? He doesn't know what it means.
Okay,
I thought it was a car term. I have no idea what tore up means.
Okay, it's not operating. The engine is not operating.
You mean it broke down?
Yes, it broke down.
Well, if you bought it from him, why don't you have it titled in your name? Did you pay him for it?
I haven't finished paying it for it, Your Honor.
Does Mr. know where the car is? It's not
yes.
an answer, Thomas.
No.
Is he looking for you?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Why not?
I've been talking with them about that. I was going to get it fixed and get it taken care of.
How long has it been in Miss Wright's garage?
A year and a half.
Something's wrong with him. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether he takes prescription medication, non-prescription medication. I'm not sure. I'm just telling you that there's something wrong with him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What was your relationship with Mr. Thomas at the time?
He actually was my lover.
So it was sort of easy for you to believe him.
Well, he's very convincing. He's very...
Not me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Delight Wright says ex-boyfriend Gregory Thomas owes for a loan and storage fees.
Now, let's take care of the car first.
Yes, ma'am.
When you get back home, call a towing company. Have them tow the car to a junkyard. Say this car is trespassing in my house. Okay. He's going to pay as part of a judgment against him for you to have it towed. If they won't tow it for you to a junkyard, have somebody put it out on the street. Police will come and take it if it's in the middle of the street. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Unload it. Get him out of your life.
Okay.
Don't give him a chance to come and get it because he's a little bit off. Okay. Got that so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that takes care of the car business. And it will probably cost you $100 to have somebody come, hitch it up, tow it out of your garage, and put it on the street for them to take away. So that's what she's going to do. She's going to tow that, and she's going to do that tomorrow. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Perfect. Next, did Miss Wright give you $1,000?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
Oh, about the middle of March.
Of 2000
and now it would be 8.
When, Miss Wright, did you give him $1,000?
I gave it to him March 26, 2009.
In 9. Yep.
It was a loan.
See, sometimes when you take medication, Mr. Thomas, your mind just races.
Okay, just.
And what did you give him the money for?
Mr. Thomas had asked me numerous times to loan him $1,000 because he had this great opportunity to have a government bid. He had $14,000. He only needed an additional $1,000 more to equal $15,000.
Sounds like one of those internet scams.
No, this was for a government bid.
No, I understand, but it sounds like an internet scam. Did you ever see a bank book where he had $14,000?
No.
Did you ever see a savings account? Did you ever see evidence that he had $14,000?
No.
It's a scam.
Well, supposedly it was this great opportunity for him, chance of a lifetime. He's a civil engineer.
And he had most of the money. All he needed was $1,000.
Yes.
And what was your relationship with Mr. Thomas at the time?
He actually was my lover.
So it was sort of easy for you to believe him.
Well, he's very convincing. He's very...
Not to me.
Well, he was very convincing, very romantic and very convincing.
Yeah, well...
He's very, very intellectually inclined.
The idea is if it looks too good and it feels too good, it usually smells bad someplace. You just have to get close enough to it.
Well, I think I had pretty bad judgment because I had been divorced for years. I was not dating for years.
Just a second. He was an exercise in bad judgment.
Yes, he was.
That's it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Okay, so right now you're suing for $1,800. You're suing him for storage fees for this ridiculous Jaguar that he's probably hiding from the rightful owner. You're going to have that towed, and then he'll have to go deal with it. You want your $1,000 back. He's a scam artist. You're going to get your $1,000 back plus $100 to get the car towed out of your garage.
Okay.
Did you have dinner with him last night?
No, I haven't seen him.
Perfect. Don't go near him.
Okay.
I mean, lunch, a drink, or anything. Stay away from...
I felt as though he took advantage of me because he knew I was...
Well, he took advantage of you.
Because I'm older than him.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, you going home today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay, so you'll have to wait until tomorrow or the next day to get the car towed. And then he'll have to go chasing around to try to find it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,100. That's all. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I was trying to assist someone that I thought had a very great opportunity in life to make a good business deal.
I don't owe her. It was part of the relationship.
But somehow or another, I felt as though I got kind of short-taken because I reaped nothing from the adventure.
That was her investing in me to help our relationship and me go forward.
He kept giving me different stories why he wasn't making good on my money that he borrowed.
I didn't take advantage of her. It was a loving relationship in the beginning, and as time grew, we weren't able to nurture the beginning of the relationship.
I'm not a type of person that tries to be revengeful. That's why I sought justice.
Times I wasn't able to come over, the dinner stopped, the romantic moments stopped.
I just hope that the next woman is beware. He's very charming.
Distance grew, and as distance grew, time apart grew, and the relationship ended at that point.
There is no such fairy tales in life. Love at first sight.
Suing her former live-in boyfriend, Bill Bates, for the return of furniture and an assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 253 on the calendar in the matter of McKinney versus Bates.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. McKinney, you moved into the defendant's home And at the time, the two of you were involved in a relationship. That didn't work out. You allege all kinds of things and allege that he owes you money. Mr. Bates says not only doesn't he owe you any money, but you were supposed to pay your own way when you moved in with him. You did not do that. And in addition, when you left, you took some property of his, including a dog that you had given him. He has a counterclaim. So, when did you move in with Mr. Bates?
January of 2010.
What do you think Mr. Bates owes you for?
I purchased a table, a dining room table, and dishes and all of that stuff.
Not all of that stuff. This is a court, Ms. McKinney. You purchased a table. How much did you pay for the table, and from whom did you purchase it?
I paid $598.11, and I got it at Big Lots.
Mr. Bates.
Yes.
I'm interested in a dining room table for $600. Who bought it?
She technically bought it.
I don't want to know technically. That's where we are. We're in a court.
She purchased it.
And where is it now?
In my house.
Is she living in your house now?
No, she's not.
She gets her table back.
She owes me.
Just a second. She doesn't owe you anything until I say she owes you anything.
Okay.
Do we understand each other?
We do. Yes.
Perfect. What else did you purchase?
I purchased dishes and...
Dishes. Who did you purchase dishes from?
Target.
How much were they?
2 sets for $60 each, $120.
What do you need 2 sets of dishes? You keep kosher?
Because we have people come over, and a set is only for 4 people.
Oh, you mean 2 small sets?
Yes.
2 sets of dishes, usually first to something else. Just wanted to know. What? It was a joke. Nobody thought it was funny. I'm allowed to amuse myself. I've been here 15 years. Okay, so 2 sets of dishes for $120. Are the dishes in your house?
Yes.
They go back to her with the table in 5 days.
Half of them are broken.
That's not my problem.
He stepped on them and broke
When?
them because I wanted them back.
When?
About a month before I moved out.
It's not true.
Just a second. A month before you moved out. Now, after he stepped on the dishes, did you make up?
Yes.
Then I'm not interested.
Okay.
What else?
A bunk bed for my son.
Bunk bed. She purchased a bunk bed?
For both of our kids.
I don't care. Did she purchase a bunk bed?
Yes, and gave it to me.
Get a bed for your own kid.
She gave it to me.
No, she didn't. Get a bed for your own kid.
I had one.
Good. She's getting the bunk bed back, along with the table.
I don't agree.
I don't care whether you agree or not. This is not a popularity contest.
Right.
This is a court.
It is.
Perfect. Anything else?
Snow pants that I paid for. They were $150.
Snow pants.
Yeah. They ended up getting left behind when I grabbed all my clothes.
Well, so what do you want from me? Go buy new snow pants. What's next?
Punitive damages for harassment.
Do you know that if I actually got punitive damages from people for harassing me, I would be a very rich person?
It was harassment and abuse, domestic violence.
You have 5 minutes. Less, 3.
We were going out for a night, and we were discussing sexual acts, and we were joking around and having a fun time. And after we went out, he got drunk and belligerent and started going crazy, and he threw my keys across the room. He pushed me down on the couch. He pinned me to the bed. He was yelling in my face. He was this close to my face, screaming and yelling at me, and I was just sitting there crying, asking him to stop. And he went to go light a cigarette in the room, and that's when I freaked out because I didn't know what he was going to do with that cigarette.
Why don't you leave?
He wouldn't let me get to my phone. He was holding me in the house.
No, he wasn't holding you in the house.
He was holding me in the house.
He went to the other room to get a cigarette.
In the living room, and the bedroom is in the back of the house. There's no way to get out of the bedroom.
Keep going.
He had my phone.
Keep going.
He was in the front of the house.
Come on. Busy. Let's go.
He was holding me down to the bed. He went, and then he went to go light. He went to go light the cigarette, and I freaked out because I didn't know what he was going to do with it. I thought he was going to burn me.
I don't care what you thought. What did you do?
I yelled and told him to stop, to not light the cigarette, and then he kept me in the room, kept my phone from me, wouldn't let me leave.
And then what did you do?
I said, please, can I just go to bed?
What did you do?
In the morning, I text my mom.
So you went to sleep?
Yes. I waited for him to pass out, and I went to sleep.
You went to sleep?
Yes. I had no way to get out of the house.
Just a second. You went to sleep. According to what you just said to me, you waited for him to pass out. That's what you just said. I waited for him to pass out, and then I went to sleep.
By then, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't care. If I were petrified of somebody, I would get out at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I had no way to. He threw my keys. I didn't have my car. My phone wasn't working because he had broken it.
Well, you're very fortunate that you're here. You should have left. 3 o'clock in the morning, gone to a neighbor, knocked at a door, say I'm in danger, somebody's trying to kill me. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Don't fetch about it later. You went to sleep. You had a fight, you went to sleep. All right. Next.
I have a witness that was there when I picked her up, when she came and picked me up that morning.
How did you get your witness to come and pick you up?
Because
I asked you a simple question. How did you get the witness to come and pick you up?
When we left the next morning to go get the kids, I sent my mom a text message because I got my phone to work. And I said, come pick me up in 45 minutes with a truck. Don't text back. I have to delete this. After I sent that to her, he took my phone, held it out the window, was driving over 100 miles an hour, acting like he was going to crash my car.
You want to know something? 3 o'clock in the morning, you should have left. Gotten in touch with somebody and said, I'm in danger, I'm leaving. Do you understand?
I couldn't.
Well, that's what you say. If I felt as if my life was in danger and the perpetrator of that alleged danger passed out, according to you used the words, he passed out, I would have gotten out of that house. Now, let's get to your answer. Answer, Ashley never paid me her share of rent or utilities, and all the furniture she wants back belongs to me. Not true, it belongs to her. And she took your dog. Now tell me about the dog. When did she take the dog?
This was just before Christmas. When she moved out, she took the dog.
Very good. You're getting smart.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm paying half for the table. I'm paying half for the rent. I was paying for everything. Yeah.
And later today.
Get your what back and forth to school?
My daughter.
How old is your daughter?
5.
You have this 5-year-old child with him?
Oh, no way. No.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ashley McKinney says former live-in boyfriend Bill Bates owes for the return of furniture and an assault. Bill is countersuing for utility bills, child care costs, and pet expenses.
Now, did you love the dog?
Yes, I loved it. My son loved it.
When for the first time did you go to the police and say she stole your dog?
I never went to the police.
We're now, sir, almost in October.
Yes, we are.
That's almost a year ago. If I woke up and found that somebody stole my dog, I would have been at the police the next day.
5 months ago.
Listen, you have a son?
I do.
You have a son?
Yes, I do.
You love him?
Yes, I do.
If you went into his bedroom and found him missing one day, would it take you 5 months to report that to the police? You would go right away.
Right away.
Right. Well, some people feel that way about their pets, sir. So I'm not interested in a counterclaim that's asking for a dog back after 5 months. Do we understand each other?
Well, it's not necessarily the dog. I mean, I spent for the vet bills on that dog and then supplies.
I don't care. It's irrelevant to me.
She took the dog away from me and my son.
It's irrelevant to me,
There's
sir.
nothing I could...
If you wanted the dog back and it's your dog, then you should have... I'm speaking. Do you see my mouth moving? If you wanted the dog back, and I would have entertained your application to get the dog back, if she took the dog September 15th, and you said, she stole my dog, and I love that dog, and she gave it to me as a gift, I want it back, I would have heard you.
This is 5 months now, and she's asking for furniture. So, I mean, regardless of the dog or the furniture...
No, there's a difference between furniture and a dog.
Well, it's a gift.
In my mind, there's a difference.
Well,
just like there's a difference. You see my mouth moving? Just like there's a difference between furniture and your son.
That's correct.
There's a different feeling. You don't love a table, and she doesn't love her snow pants.
Actually, I do love the table. It's an awesome table.
You do love the table?
Yeah, it's a beautiful table.
You love the table more or less than your son?
Oh, I love my son more.
Right. Okay. She gets back the table. You don't get back the dog. Now, let's talk about what she owes you for rent, because that's what she says. She never paid her share of her rent or utilities.
She actually moved in October of 2009.
Yes.
She stayed with me rent-free.
For how long?
For 7 months.
Just a minute. And was she supposed to pay you in October?
Yes.
Did she pay you?
No.
Did you evict her?
No.
She stayed with you in November?
Yes.
Did she pay you?
No.
Did you evict her?
No.
Did she stay with you in December?
Yes.
Did she pay you?
I see where you're going.
You got where I'm going? You got where I'm going? It's over. She gets her table and her bunk beds, the unbroken dishes, and if you want to, wrap the unbroken dishes in her snow pants if you have them within 5 days. It's finished.
But
over. Done.
You don't understand what I've done for this girl.
Listen. You
beat her up?
Listen to me. Just a second. You don't understand me, sir. I don't care.
I can see that.
I don't care. I'm not giving her the money that she wants. Now, let me see how much money she wants. $5,000 because she had a fight. She's not getting any money. She's getting her furniture back because she spent her money on it, she's taking her furniture back, because that's reasonable. But if you actually had a contract with her for rent and utilities,
I didn't
and
bring
she
the
lived
lease.
with, and she lived with you for 7 months and shared a bed with you, and as she discussed, you know, having cute little sex talk before this argument took place, I'm not interested, quite frankly, in rent.
Well, she was only eligible to buy those things for the place because I paid for the rent. If I didn't pay for the rent or the bills, she wouldn't have been able to buy the table or any of that. So technically, I'm paying half for the table, I'm paying half for the rent. I was paying for everything. Yeah, I know.
5 days, that's all. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Parties are excused. May step out.
we were planning on having a long future together,
I bought her a wedding ring, actually.
and it just kind of went downhill.
I'm stuck with a wedding ring, and she gets the furniture.
Be smart about who I choose to be with.
Well, I'm telling you what, next time she comes to my work for a booty call, I'm gonna tell her no way.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bloom versus Colby, step forward.
Donald Bloom is suing his daughter's ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Michael Colby, for an unpaid loan to buy a car. Michael claims the money was a gift.
Mr. Bloom, this young man used to be your daughter's boyfriend. Is your claim you loaned him money for a car? He paid you back some. There is a balance on the loan, and he and your daughter are no longer a couple. Mr. Colby says that you did, in fact, give him money to buy a car. It was just that. It was a gift. He did, in fact, give you back some money for some bizarre reason, but he said there was never an agreement to pay you back, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Colby?
Currently, right now, nothing.
Who are you living with?
My parents.
Why are you laughing at that? Is this your father?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
How old are you?
23.
Have you always lived with your parents?
For like the past probably 3 years.
Where did you live prior to that?
On my own.
For how long?
From when I was 17 to about 3 years ago. So,
And what kind of work were you doing from 17 to 20?
warehouse production.
And when was the last time you were employed?
About a year ago.
Month.
May.
May of 2009?
Yes, ma'am.
And you haven't worked since May of 2009?
Yeah.
When did Mr. Bloom turn over this money to you for a car? In what month?
September.
Of what year?
09.
And at that time you weren't working?
Nope.
No is the answer.
No, ma'am.
What did you need a car for?
Transportation, look for a
For what?
job, get my daughter back to school.
Get your
home.
what?
For what?
Get your what back and forth to school?
My daughter.
How old is your daughter?
5.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you start giving him back this gift?
I don't remember when I started paying him back the money, but the reason why I paid him back that 5 was I felt guilty for it.
What made you stop feeling guilty?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donald Bloom says his daughter's ex-boyfriend, Michael Colby, owes for a loan to buy a car.
You have this 5-year-old child with him?
No way, no. No.
Thank God.
And with whom does your daughter live?
Half with her mom and half with me.
Well, half with you. We mean half with your father. Because you don't pay rent because you don't work.
When I was with her, I was paying rent. I was paying $500 to my parents.
Well, how could you pay $500
Because I was
to your
working
parents?
up until the time I broke my hand.
When?
I broke my hand in May of 09.
Why?
So for the last year, from May of 09, well, certainly until September of 09, when he gave you money to buy a car, you weren't working.
No.
You say he was working.
He was working for
Where
Stanley
was he working?
Steamer,
Full-time or part-time?
full-time.
How long had he worked for Stanley Steamer at the time you gave him the car money?
I loaned him the money in September of 09, so he was working. I mean, my daughter met him about May. I don't know how long prior
May of
to that.
09.
Yes.
Now we together, sir? So at the time that you
Yes.
got this money from Mr. Bloom, you were working for Stanley Steamer.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what Mr. Bloom says, because he also said that you were giving him back $200 every couple of weeks.
Correct.
Towards this loan, which is why he gave you $2,500, and all that's left is $2,050.
As far as we talked, it was a gift. He never loaned me the money. It was always a gift.
Well, when did you start giving him back this gift?
I don't remember when I started paying him back the money, but the reason why I paid him back that 5 was I felt guilty for it. So
And when did you stop feeling guilty?
when I stopped paying him, probably a few months ago.
What made you stop feeling guilty?
Because in a way, I felt like I didn't owe him the money, and then...
Okay. So in a way, you felt as if you didn't owe him the money.
Yeah.
Tell me what kind of way you felt that you didn't owe him the money.
Because his daughter had stated she was going to help pay back the money, and it was, like I said, it was just a gift.
No, don't tell me it was just a gift. That's a conclusion. So you didn't actually feel as if you actually owed him the money, even though you had paid him back some of the money, because his daughter said she was going to help pay back some of the money, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the conversation you had with your then girlfriend.
In the beginning, I didn't want to take the money. I was leery on it. She stated
to you,
yes to me, to take the money. She would help me pay it back.
Great. Take the money. I will help you pay the gift back, right? No. I'm trying to understand you, Mr. Colby. Take the money, and if you have a problem, I'll help you pay the gift back, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to pay something back, then that's a loan. Do you understand that, Mr. Colby?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I know I was making fun before when I said, you know, paying back this gift. But if you're going to pay something back, it's a loan.
It's true.
Why did you bring your father here?
Because he's been through it the whole time. With all the harassing and text messages. Don's the one that got him involved in it. When it was between me and him, he should have never got my dad involved on it.
What was between the two of you?
The money that he had given me.
And you think he would have given you any money, sir, if it wasn't for his daughter?
Probably.
I mean, I wouldn't give you a quarter. And the reason he got your father involved is because you're 23 years old. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Almost the same age as his foolish daughter. And he figured, listen, I need my money back. So since Mr. Colby doesn't live on his own, has no job, he's got a 5-year-old child, his parents cover for him, so they let him move into the house. His parents take care of probably part of the time his daughter, something that they didn't sign on for because you were a little bit stupid. So he figured he'd contact your father to see if maybe your father could be inspired to help pay off this debt. What state do you live in?
Phoenix, Arizona.
They give money for deposits on bottles in Phoenix?
I don't know.
I mean, that's a way of making money. Go out and collect bottles and turn in the money. Go in there, big machines and supermarkets where you cash in the bottles and they give you back $5. You have to do something, Mr. Colby.
It's kind of hard out there. There's no jobs, so I'm trying. Can't say I'm not trying.
There are jobs out there. They may not be jobs that you like.
Maybe, maybe not. There's really none. Not even McDonald's is hiring out there. Where do you expect us to work at?
What happened to the job you had?
If you're 23 years old, sir.
I ended up losing it, sir, because I broke my hand.
Listen
Wasn't
to me.
allowed to go back.
Don't talk to him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
You have an option if you're a single person and your parents are foolish enough to continue to subsidize you at your age, but you have a 5-year-old child. Who supports that child?
They helped me with it, but when I had a job,
You don't have a job now.
So.
And a 5-year-old child needs 3 meals a day and snacks.
That's fine. There's food in there.
And school and clothes and medical care and everything else. So my question to you, Mr. Colby, is who supports your daughter?
Her mom and my parents helped me with it.
Just a second. Her mom. Does her mom work?
Part-time job.
Then her mom doesn't support her child. Then probably the state of Arizona is supporting your child.
No.
The good citizens of the state of Arizona. So it seems to me you have to find some way to earn money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. You owe him $2,050. That's all. Step out. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Thank you.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Loan somebody money, they should pay it back in a reasonable time and manner.
Because I feel I don't owe him money. His daughter lived with me.
It'd been a year since we made the agreement.
For 3 months, so I should take care of all of it, so.
And he had made 2 payments, and that was it.
I needed a car. He offered to give me the money, and so I took it.
Because he just didn't feel he had to pay me.
19-year-old Ashley Miller is suing her aunt, Shauna Miller, for repossessing her car. Shauna claims Ashley didn't abide by the terms of their agreement.
Okay. Very complicated story. Let me see if I can simplify it because it's getting late in the afternoon and I'm getting a little tired. This is your aunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Who did a very nice thing for you several months ago.
Yes, ma'am.
And agreed to purchase a car. She was primarily responsible on the loan. You were a co-signer on the loan because you didn't have good credit.
Yes, ma'am.
You went shopping. You put $1,000 of your hard-earned money down on the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave your aunt $1,000 towards insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car did you buy?
It was a 2007 Hyundai Accent.
And it was brand new?
Yes. Only had 5 miles on it.
And when did you purchase it?
February 8th.
And the understanding was that you were going to make the payments on the car and eventually, hopefully, get the loan out of your aunt's name because she didn't want to be responsible for this thing. And you were going to take care of the car, and there were certain things that you were supposed to be responsible with.
Yes, ma'am, after 6 months.
And your aunt took the car back after 2 months.
Correct.
You want the money that you invested in the car, and you want $600 back for the insurance that wasn't used because she took the car back. So you want back $1,600. Your aunt says that you were irresponsible with the car. In the 2 months that you had the car, you put on how many miles?
3,400.
3,400 miles. Where did you go for 3,400 miles?
Well, I went back and forth to work, and I did go to my friend's house. I went over to their house because they asked me to come visit them every day. So I tried. I went back and forth to school every day after work because I go to school 4 days a week.
Where do you work? In what country? Now, did you loan the car to anyone?
No, ma'am.
Did you make any long trips?
I did one long trip, and that was to West Virginia.
From where?
From my house.
Which is where?
Maryland.
Who did you go with?
I went with my 2 sisters because they were up here visiting from Florida.
Did they ever drive your car?
No, ma'am.
Was there any damage to the car?
No, ma'am, not when I had it.
When did you take the car back, Miss Miller?
May 4th.
So she had the car 3 months?
Close to, yes.
Why did you take the car back?
Well, one of the agreements was that she was to stay in touch with us. She was not to have anybody in the car. She was on our insurance because the insurance was in excess to what she could afford. So we turned around.
Just a minute. Did you have an agreement with her that there wasn't to be anyone else in the car?
Prior to signing of anything, yes. I've had the same agreements. I've got my daughter here, Sherry, who is under the same agreement with a car that we have. And also with my other children. I have a 30-year-old son and a 28-year-old daughter. I've done it with all of them. You know, with the same agreements. I know, good heart, but you know what? It builds character and shows them responsibility. And yeah, I've been batting.
Did you have an agreement with your aunt not to have anyone else in the car?
No, ma'am.
What was the discussion that you had with regard to having other people in the
No,
car?
ma'am. The only agreement that we had with the car was not to let anybody drive the car and to make sure I make the payments on the car, and that was it.
Not to let anybody else drive it?
Yes, to drive it. That was it.
I believe you.
That was it.
I believe you.
Thank you.
I believe her. Because I think it's ridiculous to have an agreement that nobody else can be in the car.
Well, okay.
I believe that you made an agreement with her that nobody else was to drive the car.
Well, actually, well, okay.
But not be in the car. That sounds unreasonable for somebody who's making payments on the car, who's given you the down payment and paid for the insurance. The insurance may not cover anybody else driving the car,
right,
but certainly being a passenger in the car. Why not? Keep going. So, she didn't keep in touch with you, and?
She didn't keep in touch, and when I tried to call her, she was avoiding the calls. I had to go through my father-in-law to call her to call back. My husband and I went up to her place of employment to where we looked at the car. There was dents, 4 of them, going down this way, not like a car had opened and hit it. The dents were going this way. And
you have pictures of the dents?
Oh, I do, yes.
I'd like to see the dents that you're talking about.
This is the car. Dents. I've got an estimate also.
No, I don't need an estimate.
Okay, that's the dents.
Those are dings. There's a ding. It's a ding. It's nothing. You had no right to take the car back.
Okay.
So your counterclaim's dismissed because you're counterclaiming. You say you're now stuck with a car.
Hold on, Your Honor.
I didn't ask you anything. You're now stuck with a car that has 3,400 miles on it. It's depreciated. Well, you know, as soon as you drive a car out of the lot, it depreciates. But as long as she was making the payments, was she?
Yes, she was.
And she paid for the insurance?
Yes, she did.
The car looks perfectly good shape to me. It may have a couple of dings on it. That's unfortunate. But that doesn't look as if it's been in an accident. You had no mileage requirements. You have no basis to take the car back. Yes?
We did have mileage requirements, and the reason why she wasn't allowed
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. We made an agreement with her.
Show me it written down someplace that you had a mileage agreement with her.
It was to keep the value of the car up.
Show me where you have an agreement with her that you have a
It
mileage
was
agreement.
It was a verbal agreement.
Baloney.
Just like the part with the
Baloney.
insurance.
Baloney.
Until she got it in her own name or her own insurance, she
Baloney. You
wasn't
had no
supposed to
reason
have
to
anybody
take the
in
car.
it.
Don't speak to me anymore. You had no reason to take the car back. Unfortunately, Miss Miller, you did a very nice thing for your niece.
I thought so.
You probably had second thoughts about it, but you didn't have a basis to breach the agreement and take the car back, her money, or you give her the car back. What's your pleasure?
Can I say something
Sure.
real quick? She assured me that no drinking, no partying, and everything else, and she was drinking, and she was partying, but, you know.
Well, show me proof that she was drinking in the car.
Oh, I can't show you
drinking
proof.
and driving.
No.
Sir?
Okay.
That's what you need. You need proof. Put your hand down. That's what you need. You need proof.
Okay.
Where's the car now?
In my yard.
You want your car back?
Can I speak?
Yes.
The whole drinking thing has nothing to do with it because I didn't do it when I was driving. And the car they gave to her daughter after they took the car from me. After like a week went by and they called me and told me, asked me if I want the car back. And I said no because they already took the car. And after that, I felt like, you know, since they took it from me once, they would do it again.
Did you get another car?
No.
How many miles are on the car now?
There's quite a bit.
What do you mean quite a bit? There was 3,400 miles when you took it. How many miles are on the
Well,
car
I
now?
drove it back and forth to work myself, and my daughter's driving. Okay.
You owe her $1,600. You had no basis to take the car back.
Can I get her to sign off on this title, or how do I have to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can get her to sign off on the title as soon as you get the bank to release her from the loan. Why would I have her sign the title off until you can get her off on the loan?
Okay, I can, yes.
Okay, so we'll cut an order that as soon as you get her off on the loan, she's going to sign off on the title, right?
Yes,
You don't want
ma'am.
the title in your name?
Nope, ma'am.
Very good. Judgment for the plaintiff, the amount of $1,600. Thank you.
Parties are excused. Step out, please.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Soyak versus Holloway. Step forward, please.
Limousine driver James Soyak is suing former client, business owner Tim Holloway, for an unpaid hotel bill. James says Tim is a scammer.
Mr. Holloway, how old are you, sir?
33.
And what kind of work do you do, sir?
I have a maintenance company.
How long have you had it?
My dad had it since '59. I took it over about 3 years ago.
He's no longer involved in the business.
Sometimes, yeah.
So he still goes into the office
Correct.
on a daily basis?
2 or 3 times a week.
Are you making this up as we're going along, sir?
No.
Are you trying to give me accurate answers? Because you never can tell why I'm asking you these questions.
Correct.
Now, do you live alone or do you live with someone else?
I live with my fiance.
Did you move into her place or did you move in someplace together?
Together.
When?
2 years ago.
What's the address?
North Wilson.
How large an apartment is it?
It's a condo. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Are you renting or did you buy it?
We're renting that.
Are you both on the lease?
Yes.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Now, Mr. Soyak, you drive a limousine.
Yes, ma'am.
And your complaint is that you drove Mr. Holloway in your limousine to a casino, hotel.
Yes.
And he told you that he'd forgotten his wallet and he needed a hotel room. So you agreed to put the hotel room on your credit card.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not true.
He used the room and then stiffed you for the reimbursement.
I rented 2 rooms for him, $99 each.
In addition, he didn't have his wallet, so he said he needed some money. You gave him cash. He gave you a check
Yes, ma'am.
for $300. The check bounced.
Yes.
That's not true.
What's not true, sir?
The room. Now the check.
Let's talk about the check.
Okay.
Let me hear.
I gave him a check. Me and my fiance was having problems at the house. I couldn't get to what I need to get to the bank. I owe him for the $300, but the hotel room, it never happened.
Now, okay. Now, Mr. Holloway, your last paragraph of your answer, which you swore to, sir, says, I did give him a check for $300, which was returned. I explained that I had just moved and was having problems with my bank account.
I did just move.
No, just a second. I explained that I had just moved.
Same thing I just said.
No, that's not. Mr. Holloway, let me understand something, sir. No more than 5 minutes ago, I said to you, where do you live? You gave me the address. Who do you live with? I live with my fiance. How long have you lived there in the condo? 2 years. Did you sign a lease? Yes.
That's what I said. But I just moved. If we was having problems, evidently I had to leave because we was having problems. So I did leave. Now when we reconciled, that's one thing. But I did leave. So what I told you is the truth.
Can I see the bills for the 2 rooms, please? Mr. Soyak, how long have you been driving a limousine?
10 years.
Okay. You ever had this kind of trouble?
Never.
Mr. Soyak, let me explain something to you. Don't be an idiot. You don't take out your credit card, allow somebody to put money on your credit card. You don't take checks from
Yes,
people
ma'am.
you don't know.
You're absolutely right.
Good.
It'll never
Can I have
happen
it,
again.
please? The rooms you rented for $99, but he certainly did a lot more damage than the $99.
He drank everything in the bar. Plus movies, plus phone calls.
I never went in there.
Okay. You owe him a whole bunch of money, sir. You owe him for these 2 hotel rooms. Who else was with you? Who else was with him, Mr. Soyak?
He found a couple of young gentlemen. They were walking the street while we were in Old Town Pasadena, and he claimed he's a music producer. And I don't know how he knew these guys can sing, but he made friends with them and invited them later to be picked up in the car, and we drove them also to the Commerce Casino. He didn't want the other two men to sleep in the same room as him, so he wanted me to get a separate room for them.
That's a lie. That never happened.
It's not a lie because I have my witnesses
Mr. Holloway,
here.
Mr. Holloway.
I have my witnesses here. My other driver that picked him up Sunday.
So you dropped him off and somebody else picked him up?
Yes.
Who picked him up?
Richard. He's my co-driver.
Step up, sir. Your last name?
Thompson.
Where did you pick Mr. Holloway up?
Commerce Casino.
Who else was with him?
2 other gentlemen, like young, like 2 20-year-olds or something like that.
Maybe that's what you were fighting with your fiancé about. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,113. That's all. Step out.
Thank you. I trust Judy. She's got a keen sense of what's going on.
I didn't sign for any room. My name wasn't on the room.
I was driving him for about 4 days. He introduced me to his friends, his family.
If he's driving, I always introduce people. That's just me.
This will never happen again. This is a very good lesson for me.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sarah Borden versus Taylor Marquez. Step forward, please.
19-year-old barista Devin Serra and her boyfriend, Michael Borden, are suing their former roommates, 20-year-old cashier Angela Marquez and her boyfriend, Gary Taylor, for breaking a lease. Angela says she moved out because she was scared to live with Devin.
The 2 of you decided to lease an apartment with the 2 of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Leased the apartment when?
December 11th in 2004.
Moved in when?
That same day.
That was fast. How big an apartment?
It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
You're not married?
No.
You're not married?
No,
You're going to have a baby?
Yes.
Well, everything's... You're all friends, right? Yes. When did you move out?
January 28th, 2005.
Okay, and you want 3 months' rent from them?
Yes.
Because you're stuck with the lease?
Yeah.
And you also say that when they moved out, they took some property that didn't belong to them.
Yes, they did.
You'll tell me about that in a minute. And you say you had to move out because she threatened you, and they both told you to go, and you just went. And you couldn't be stressed out because you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are you?
20.
How old are you?
I'm 20, Your Honor.
Do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you work at?
Firefighter.
And you?
Cashier.
2 20-year-olds having a baby? That would make me nervous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She grabs the salt and the pepper, she throws it against the wall. She comes after me, in my face, picking up her hands like she was going to come after me and hit me.
Oy, 20 years old and you're having a child.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Devin Serra and her boyfriend Michael Borden claim former roommates Angela Marquez and her boyfriend Gary Taylor owe for breaking a lease.
Okay. Are you still living in the apartment?
Yes, we are.
Do you have new roommates?
Not yet.
How much is the rent?
$865 a month.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a barista.
A what?
A barista.
What's a barista?
I work at Starbucks. Cashier, make drinks.
Yeah, they make burritos and stuff.
No, barista. No, really, seriously.
A barista, yeah.
Is that what it's called, a barista?
Yes.
So you work at Starbucks full-time?
Part-time.
What else do you do?
I'm a student.
How much do you make from working as a barista?
I make $7.20 an hour.
How much do you take home every week?
Every 2 weeks, I make about $200.
And that's what you support yourself on?
Myself, yeah.
And what about you?
Seasonal firefighter.
Seasonal firefighter.
Firefighter.
What does that mean?
Work with the Forest Service, so wildland firefighting, just with the summer.
What do you do the rest of the time?
Right now, I'm working as an athletic trainer.
You train people individually or what?
It's with the high school.
How much do you make?
It's $12.66 an hour, and I bring home about $2,000, a little over $2,000 a month.
Okay, so you can afford the rent.
Yes.
Great. You're going to stay in this apartment?
Yes.
Why don't you sign off on the lease?
We did, Your Honor. We tried.
No, you either did or you tried.
We did.
You did sign off on the lease.
My fiance had gone to the manager's office and asked for a release form. And we showed it to them, and they said they weren't going to sign us off if we didn't pay the February rent.
You left there because of your own safety, is that right?
Yes.
You had security deposit.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much security deposit did you put down?
$250.
That's for both of you, was the security deposit?
It was actually $450, but in half, it was about $225 each on deposit from each couple.
From each couple?
From each couple.
Okay. You moved out January 28th. Why shouldn't you be responsible for February's rent? They certainly couldn't find somebody else in 2 days to rent the apartment.
Because January, I would say the 21st, on January is a Sunday. I had like the last straw with them. I was like in a mood that I couldn't talk to them. I didn't want to just go out there and say stuff. And so finally I told Mike if we could talk. And he said, sure, meet us for dinner here at the house and we'll talk. So we talked about it. We sat there. I went first and I told her how I felt and everybody. Then she went and she said how she felt and whatnot. Well, all of a sudden, she went crazy. She went out of this world. She pulled out of her chair. She started screaming and saying, I'm not happy that you're pregnant. It's not fair that you're pregnant. I had an abortion. I did this and this and this and that. And she thought, it's my fault that I brought you together and you're pregnant. You're going to suffer and you're this and that. And then she just pulls out of her chair. She grabs the salt and the pepper. She throws it against the wall. She goes back to her room screaming and just going crazy. She comes back out of her room throwing stuff, just hitting walls and whatnot. She comes after me. Like she was this close from me, in my face, picking up her hands like she was going to come after me and hit me. Then
what was she saying to you?
Saying that she couldn't take it anymore. She didn't like living with me and Gary, that she hated the fact that I was pregnant, and she had to see me happy. She didn't want to see me happy. And I was like, okay, why don't you want to see me happy?
Oy, 20 years old and you're having a child.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Now, why were you upset?
We were all upset.
I assume you were all upset.
Yeah.
Good. I don't want to be upset.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be upset. Where are you living now?
We're living somewhere else now, in another apartment.
They signed off on the lease on January 25th.
That was the date I got the papers, and that was the day I wanted all of us to get the signatures so we can get off the lease.
Did you or did you not sign off on the lease?
We signed it, and they had to sign it. The manager told us, we cannot get you off the lease unless they sign you off because they're still staying there.
Fine. Court will draft an order 5 days from today. Do you all live in the same town?
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am.
You're all going to meet in the landlord's office, 9 a.m. Sign the release form. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
I am going to award you their share of February's rent. Because they had an obligation to pay at least 1 month's rent for you to spend that month looking for a new roommate if that's what you wanted to do. I think that that's fair, don't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you sign off on the lease, you will also get a check for $250 for your security deposit. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you don't go there 5 days from today, I'm giving the plaintiffs the right to come back and ask for a judgment for the remainder of the lease. And they will take it out of your pay. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the order?
Yes.
Good. Now, let's get to what property you say they took when they moved out.
When they were moved out, they took a lot of belongings and stuff.
Oh,
when they moved
a
out.
lot of belongings doesn't help me, madam.
They took food, they took
I don't
cleaning
care.
supplies.
Are you kidding me or what? Other than food and cleaning supplies.
That's all they took.
I hope you've replaced them. You don't want the food back, do you?
No.
Good. Okay, you understand the order?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I really don't care. Like, to tell you the truth, it's over and done with and I never have to see them again.
We wanted them out of there in February. We wanted the rent paid. We wanted it over.
We should have gotten more money out of him, I think. We all agreed from the beginning. Both of us as couples didn't work out. We would split and go our separate ways.
They can't stand us, we can't stand them.
We were friends.
Okay, that's fine. Judge Judy had her say in it. That's fine.
Definitely not going to Elise with people you were like weary about.
Glad it's over, and I'm just glad I'm away from her, and she's psycho.
That's case number 49 on the calendar in the matter of Hobile versus Gray. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Mr. and Mrs. Hobile, this is your daughter's boyfriend. They have a child together. I assume this is your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is your claim that you made 2 loans to Mr. Gray, one for a truck, which you have since repossessed, and one for fees concerning a bankruptcy? Mr. Gray says that the truck was never in his name. Truck was always in your daughter's name. When they fell behind in payments, you asked for the truck back. You took the truck back. It was never actually his truck. And with regard to the bankruptcy fees, he said that there was never an expectation that you were going to be paid back any money that you did in fact give him. You wanted them to start fresh, and you made a gift to him of that money. Let's talk about the truck. In whose name was the truck titled?
Truck was titled in my daughter's name, Jennifer Marie Hobile. My husband and I were the lien.
If it was Mr. Gray's truck, why wasn't it titled in his name?
He owed DMV fees, and it was all kinds of problems that he had. He had marital problems, he had bankruptcy problems. The problems that he had, he could not put the truck in his name.
Had he filed for bankruptcy before he got the truck?
No, he had not, ma'am.
Okay, Jason, let's come back to you. Listen to me. You got the truck. At the same time, your girlfriend got a car.
Yes.
And both of those came from her parents.
Yes.
Because I read the papers and I put 2 and 2 together. So you drove the truck.
Yes, sometimes. Most of the time I did.
Don't play with me.
I'm not playing with you. Everybody drove that truck.
Who's everybody?
She did. Her ex-husband did. Everybody drove that truck. He drove it. I wasn't the only one that drove it.
What kind of work did you do?
I did tree work at the time.
And how did you get to work?
I either had the company truck or I drove that truck.
What company gave you their truck to take home?
It was my brother's company.
What company gave you a truck to take home? Name of the company?
Gray's Tree.
And if I called your brother right now, would he say to me that he allowed you, while you were working for him, to take his truck home on a regular basis?
Yes.
He would?
He would.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay. We may try him later. Now, you want to tell me about the bankruptcy fees that you claim to have loaned him? When was that?
It was May of '08. He had asked for $1,100 for bankruptcy. He needed it immediately because his wife was going to file for all the bank charges that they had, and he had another vehicle that was in there, a Dodge Durango, that had to be repossessed, and he was going to have to pay $8,000 to $9,000 on that if Jason could not get the bankruptcy.
$1,100 in May of 2008, 2 years ago.
Yes.
Now, in March of '07, you claimed that you registered the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much did you take out on the truck?
I got a convenience check for $3,000.
Okay, and between March of '07 and May of '08, how much did Mr. Gray pay on the truck?
$400.
So a year and a half after he made literally no payments on the truck, and I assume you were making payments on the truck.
Yes, I still am.
You gave him more money.
Yes, because otherwise he was going to get hit with the fees from his wife, and he was going to have to pay for this Dodge Durango.
I heard the story before.
Okay.
After you gave him the $1,100 in May of 2008, when was the next payment on anything from Mr. Gray?
Nothing.
Well, then where have you been for the last 2 years?
Well, he assured me that in 2009 he was going to get a large sum of money from his taxes and that he would pay me then. Well, I was very lenient with them. I have done everything in my power to love my daughter, even though I felt that she got hooked up with a loser, a drunk, and that's what I felt about him all along. I felt that this was a bad choice that she had made, but she's my daughter, I loved her, and now she had a child by him. And so we felt that we could give him a fresh start, even though we didn't think he was the nicest person on the face of the earth. My husband working in corrections, we thought, well, we'll give him another start. It was a verbal agreement, no need to have anything signed, because I will trust you, and I did. and they faithfully said, he's very manipulative.
He paid nothing.
He paid nothing.
Ms. Hublin, he paid nothing.
He paid nothing. Listen. He said nothing. He made no arrangements. Every time I kindly said, could you please come over and let's talk about this? What do we need to talk about? He feels he's entitled to this, that this was given as a gift. I wouldn't give him anything as a gift because I never liked him. He's a loser. And it's just a matter of time before my daughter finds this out.
She dogged me.
Put your hand down. Put your hand down. How old are you?
32.
How many children do you have?
I've got 3.
And you've had a bankruptcy?
Yes.
And you couldn't afford a car, right? How much money do you send for your children?
Send them...
Don't look over there.
I send them 140 a week.
140 a week. Do they take that out of your salary?
Yes. I'm all caught up.
Caught up means you were far behind.
I'm there. I'm paid up.
I'll pay for that too.
You ain't paid for nothing.
No. Now, just listen. Did I let you speak? I understand where it's at. No, I understand where it's at. I got it. Now, when you had the truck.
When she had the truck.
When you had the truck. Did you take the truck off-road?
Yeah, it was a woods truck. I had to take it off wood to get some wood.
Listen to me. If you can answer my questions with a yes or a no, answer it.
Yes, I took it off-road.
And you took it off-road for... Put your hands down at your sides. She's right. You'll find out 5 years from now, you won't remember what his face looks like. Except every other Saturday, maybe, when he comes by for 4 hours to pick up your child. Maybe. Trust me, I got a nose. Been around the business for a long time. He's got a bad character.
That lady's got a bad character.
I didn't ask you anything, and I wasn't speaking to you. Put your hands at your sides. Not in your pockets, at your sides.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, you've made 2 bad choices in men.
Well, yes, I'm not going to say Jason's perfect, and you know, neither one of us are perfect.
Listen, none of them are perfect.
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Wanda and George Hobile claim the father of their granddaughter, Jason Gray, owes for 2 loans. Jason says he never agreed to pay the money back.
Okay, Jason. They really tried to help you. I read the papers. They really tried to help you, not because of you, but because they cared about their daughter, and she's a grown-up woman, so she made a choice, and you were the choice, and they felt as if they didn't want to lose their child, so sometimes you have to embrace someone who's marginal. Put your hands down. Who's marginal. That would be you. And I actually don't think, based upon what she says, that after a period of time they had a legitimate expectation, especially since he hadn't paid for the truck, that when she bailed you out on the bankruptcy to the tune of $1,100, that she had an expectation that she was going to be paid. She didn't have a legitimate expectation that she was going to be paid because she hadn't gotten paid from a year and a half before. That doesn't make you less a loser, Mr. Gray. And I really just wanted your girlfriend to know that you have one mother, you have one father. Were you married before?
Yes.
Stand up. When you got married, did you think it was going to last?
No.
So you got married thinking that it was going to be temporary. Don't give me answers that you think are going to make you look good, because they're going to make you look stupid.
No, I knew it wasn't going to last. I did it for my son, and it was what was right to do.
And when did it become not right?
When he had an affair on me.
So what did you do?
Him and his girlfriend lived in my house while I raised my son, and then they moved out, and I was stuck there with my son.
That sounds like a very sick arrangement.
Yes, it was.
Well, it sounds like somebody who really needs a great deal of therapy or treatment who would live under that circumstance.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been in it our whole life. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, it's been family therapy since we were 5.
That sounds like somebody's trying.
Well, yeah, we all have. And I just wanted to give you just...
Is he in therapy?
No, I don't need no therapy.
Could you please stop, okay? Really, I know the way you think about him and whatever his character is. I'm not going to say one way or another, but I do want to just give you really what this boils down to comes between my parents and me. When I was 15, my was in and out of rehabs for drug use, and so they didn't want that to happen to me. So I wasn't allowed to do anything. I ran away. I stayed gone for a year, and that's when I went with my ex-husband. When I came back, when I was caught and brought in front of the judge, my parents wanted to give me up to social services and wanted me to sign me over to the state because, well, I don't know, they said that they couldn't handle me. And the judge told them that I have not committed any crimes, I'm not into drugs, I'm not into drinking. The only thing I didn't do was go to school, and of course that was because I ran away. And the judge told me that if I can get a job and if I bought a car and got an apartment, he would emancipate me. And 1 month later, I was emancipated in October. And
how old were you?
16. I just turned 16. I was emancipated.
How old are you now?
25. And I've lived out on my own ever since. I've never gone back home to live at my parents. I've always provided a roof over my children's head. And, you know, I'm not going to say that I've been perfect financially. I have worked since the day I was 16. I started at a dollar store. Now I'm making very decent money, good benefits.
Who supports him?
I support me.
He's a welder and a fabricator.
When did he become a welder instead of a tree guy?
2 years ago, in 2008. But I will say his checks are not big because he pays his child support, and his child support comes out of his check every week. But my parents never liked my ex. They don't like anybody unless they're a doctor, lawyer, judge, professional.
I've got to tell you something. You sound like a terrific gal. I'm listening to you, and you just sound like a terrific gal for somebody who probably had a difficult teenage period, and you put yourself together, and you sound intelligent, and you're certainly good looking. And so far you've made 2 bad choices in men.
Well, yes, I'm not going to say Jason's perfect. And, you know, neither one of us are perfect.
Listen, none of them are perfect.
Right. But he has watched my son. He took my son. My son doesn't have a father.
Then if he was a decent guy,
yes,
he was, the one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let money interfere with the woman I love and her parents. We did go to them when we needed help. They were there to help. There may have been a lot of history, but when we needed help, they came through.
They were there, yes.
It was his bankruptcy.
Yes.
Not yours, not theirs. He screwed up. If he were a man, he would say, I'm not going to allow this amount of money to interfere with that relationship. If they have other issues, I don't want their issues to be about me.
You're correct.
Great. And I said to you, I'm looking at you, and you look like a great gal who doesn't have to settle.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My children hurt. They want to know why they can't get emails with me. You know, they want to know why they can't get some pops. He calls them.
That's absolutely so sad.
It is.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Wanda and George Hobile claim the father of their granddaughter, Jason Gray, owes for 2 loans. Jason says he never agreed to pay the money back.
Okay. You know, sometimes it's better to be alone. Sometimes it's better to be alone.
He is a great father. I mean, I go to school full-time.
He's a great father. Then he'd want his children to have affection of grandparents that he evidently went over to when he needed money. He needed $1,100. You have a brother, Alan, the tree surgeon. Did he give you $1,100 that you needed? No. Did he give it to you?
No.
He's related to you by blood. You're not even married to her. You have a father?
Yes.
Did you go to your father?
No.
No.
I went to my brother.
No, listen to me. Jason, you got where I'm going? Strangers bailed you out. Strangers gave you $1,100.
May I just...
Yeah, sure, tell me.
A lot of this, and I know that, yes, it was all for him, but I was the one who asked for it. I'm the one who went to them. They don't even communicate with Jason. Jason doesn't communicate with them.
Just a second. Did Jason take the $1,100 from you?
Yes, he did accept it. Yes, he did.
Then he should have paid them back.
We paid some of it. We paid around $200 to $300. It was so long ago, and they have not been asking for the money until December, when my mother and I had a falling out.
What did you have a falling out with your mother about?
We had a falling out because my mother likes to control all of her kids' lives, and she does. And
I sort of know that. I understand that.
Well, my mother wants those years that we didn't have when I was younger because my took so much of it. And so my mom wants those years back. And she's got to learn that I have my own family as well now. And my children, I barely see because I work so much and I go to school full time. I've got my associate's degree and now I'm working on my bachelor's. So over the past 5 years, that's what I've been doing. And my mom, when I'm in her life, she wants the phone call every day. She wants me to answer her phone every day. On the weekends, she wants me to come by. She's asking for time with me, and that's understandable. She's my mother. But my children are not allowed to come. She does not call my children. She did not call my children on their birthday. She will see my children maybe 3 times a year, and that is not by my choice. My children used to ask about Pops. Pops used to take him up on the mountain, and he's not allowed to do that.
So she wants to see you.
Well, yes, but you know, my children hurt. They want to know why they can't go to Meemaw's with me. You know, they want to know why they can't go see Pops. My children does not even call my parents Meemaw and Pops anymore. My son the other day seen my vehicle out at the parking lot for sale. My son told his daughter that that is my mom's car now. He doesn't even call her Meemaw.
Well, that's absolutely so sad.
It is.
It's absolutely so sad because I have a sense that there's lots of misunderstanding between you and your mother. Now your father, he looks as if he just wants everybody to be happy.
Out of it. He's my teddy bear and I love him.
But there looks like there's lots of unhappiness.
It's communication. It's a lack of communication.
Listen to me. The only thing is if there's a lack of communication between you, eventually it'll work itself out. You see the arms crossed?
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Actually, he doesn't care that, aside from the fact that...
No, I care. I just want to say something.
If you cared and if they said, listen, we feel foolish, we gave you this money and we would like to have it back, then you would say, listen, I don't want that to interfere, because I actually don't think that they had an expectation of being paid back, so I'm not granting them a judgment. That means that despite the fact that I'm not crazy about you, you won.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Okay, Jason, you can win or you can lose. And if you want to live with a happy woman and somebody who's been through a lot but sounds to me like a great gal, works hard, supports her children, because you don't support them. You support, no you don't, you support your other 2 children and maybe yourself. But as she says, his checks aren't very big because they take out his child support.
Bills.
Yes, but he does provide them with love. I mean, my son...
Just a second.
Yes.
You know, you could die of starvation on love.
Yeah.
I'm talking about supporting them. You support them, and not only do you support them, according to what you tell me, which I believe, but you also say, listen, I want to get my degree, I want to move my life forward in a different direction.
Yes.
All sounds great. All sounds terrific, and we can never go back to the past. You know, if there was a child that took a great deal of attention, sometimes that happens. Whether it's somebody who's physically sick, who has MS or MD or has cancer, sometimes, you know, a drug addiction takes more emotional fortitude very often than a physiological illness. So I'm sure that if they had to do it all over again, they may have allocated their time a little bit better. But that's history. And when you were in trouble and you needed something, they were there for you. So try to work it out. Are you the other daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there in the middle for everything.
Just a second. You get along with your parents?
Yeah, I do.
Get along with your sister?
It's been rocky because of everything going on, but I try and maintain at least somewhat of a relationship to see my niece and nephew.
And do you?
Yes, I do.
Good. I'm glad. Goodbye.
Parties are excused and they step out. Yeah, it's case number 35 on the calendar in the matter of Rogers versus Little.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Rogers, this is your girlfriend, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
And your girlfriend has 2 children.
3, Your Honor.
Well, 2 of them are his children.
Yes.
How long have you and this young lady been together?
About 18 months.
And you live together?
Yes.
It is your claim that Mr. Little filed maliciously a false child protective complaint against you.
Yes.
And in addition, he put up some flyers around the area.
He didn't put them up, he handed them out.
Or handed them out. And what they did was to describe a prior, I assume, criminal conviction that you have.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Little says he was legitimately concerned for his children and he had an absolute right to file the Child Protective Services complaint. That's what the case is about.
Yes.
You acknowledge that you called Child Protective Services.
Yes, ma'am.
You're going to tell me why.
I called because...
Look at me. Don't look there.
Okay.
Look at me.
All right, how you doing?
Don't ask me how I'm doing. I'm doing fine.
I'm sorry. I called because she dropped my sons off to me. As she came to the door, my son was full of feces.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Did you ask him what happened?
Yeah, he said, I told Mommy I had to go to the bathroom. She told me to hold it.
And he couldn't. Okay, keep going.
I asked him, I took him, put him in the tub
Took him in and you cleaned him up.
Yes, but she didn't have no bag for him, like no clothes, like spending the night, because they stayed till Sunday. So it's like, why would you bring them over and you don't have no clothes for them?
Well, when is your normal visitation, Mr. Little?
His visitations each and every other weekend, because I do music, so sometimes I don't have time.
Okay, so you have visits every other weekend for the weekend?
Yes.
Why don't you have clothes at your house?
I do. I do.
Fine, so you changed them.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to bring clothes for him to spend the night. You have clothes at your house. So he had an accident.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay, so this is not the only time CPS been involved. Okay.
I'm asking you, what were the things that happened that caused you to call Child Protective Service beside the accident
Besides
that
the
he
accident,
had?
they come dirty. Their clothes is dirty. Their socks look like they had it on for 2 weeks.
Keep going.
I bathe them. The dirt in the tub is like they played in mud all day. And then I'm asking her why my kids have to come here dirty. Outside clothes supposed to be dirty. Not your
Keep going.
You want me to keep going? Keep going.
I want you to tell me what caused you to call Child Protective Services.
Oh, because of that. He was dirty. They filled of this and dirty and everything.
So you called because your children were dirty.
Yes.
And because he had an accident in his pants because his mother wouldn't pull over or take him to a bathroom.
Yes.
Why didn't you go and file for custody of your children?
I'm going to joint custody.
No, not I'm going to.
No, I'm, as we speak now, process. Because I haven't seen my son.
When did you call Child Protective Services?
December.
When did you file for custody?
In January.
And what's the status of that case?
They didn't call us yet to come to court or whatever yet.
And you went in and filed what kind of a petition?
I filled out first the violation because I haven't seen my son in a month.
Just a second. You saw your sons December of 2009.
Okay.
What kind of petition did you file in January 2010? First you told me custody, then you said violation.
Violation that she violated for not letting me see them.
When was the last time you saw them?
A month ago.
So you saw them in January?
No, I haven't been seeing my son. I be on the road a lot. I see them if they outside, stop by like going outside, not them coming over spending the night.
What do you mean you've been on the road a lot, Mr. Little?
Shows, I do shows, musician.
How much child support do you send for them? Is not an answer. How much child support do you send for them?
$50 a week. Besides paying the $50, I do buy other things besides that. Just paying my $50
You haven't seen them, according to you. You're traveling on the road. Don't play with me. Are you in arrears in your child support?
Not that I know of.
What do you mean, not that you know of? Have you been sending your money every week pursuant to the order?
Right here.
Show me. Take this back. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in this. This is what fathers do for their children. I assume that those are receipts for clothes and things that you bought.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
Stand up. Over there. Your last name is?
Tunley.
Miss Tunley, you get $50 a week from him?
No. I've been getting the money since the court ordered it from the Child Collection Service.
Since when?
Since October 13th of last year.
Of last year, since October of 09, it's been coming directly to?
Child support.
And you send it to child support?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, they look like there may be a couple missing.
I doubled up. If you look at it, it says 100.
But for the most part, he's current in his child support, which is $50 a week. Is that right?
He has arrears.
For the most part, he's current. Okay. Do you work?
No, not no more.
How do you support your children?
I was on unemployment. It just stopped, so I'm still looking for work as of now.
Now, prior to the money going to child support enforcement, were you ever taken to court for arrears in child support?
No, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Rogers, You indicate to me that you can prove to my satisfaction that he called Child Protective Services maliciously.
Your Honor, I got a tape recording. He knows when he calls the house that everybody's recorded because this is where I do my business.
Is what you're telling me that you recorded his voice?
Yes, I recorded him in the conversation about why he called CPS.
I'd like to hear it. Want to give it to me, Byrd?
I say something to that?
No.
Okay.
I have to hear it.
All right, all right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is this?
This is that he's a sex offender, registered sex offender, that he touched little boys and girls.
This is an incident that happened when I was 19 years old. It was one case with 2 people, and it was 3 older adults.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jelani Rogers claims the father of his girlfriend's children, Donnell Little, made false accusations to CPS and passed out defamatory flyers to his neighbors.
Go ahead.
He sacrificed his time, his life. So don't tell me about what I'm sacrificing and you don't know what my plans are.
You made me a part of it when you called CPS.
You became a part of it because Tanika wanted to speak her mouth and say what the she said. Same way she sat there and say, oh, you told me to call CPS? Fine, I call CPS. That's the same he just did. So we want to call tit for tat. Tit for tat.
Got it.
But that's like calling the police and you're a gangster rapper. That don't matter.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
What did she do to you, Mr. Little?
First of all,
what did she do to you, Mr. Little?
They called my mother. My mother called me in because he claimed to my mother that, oh, I don't want to have no problem with your son. My mother called me. I told my mother I didn't want to speak to him. My family said, you know, just speak to him because he's saying he don't want no problems. So if you notice that it just jumped into an argument, that's because he was already saying stuff to me. And I'm telling him, as a man, you're sitting there telling me about calling CPS. And I'm telling him, well, as a man, you would call CPS too if your kid came the way my kid came to me.
That's not what you said there. What you said there was it's tit for tat. She called your mother, and you're calling CPS was, according to you, tit for tat.
Not tit for tat.
That's what you said.
I said tit for tat for what are you talking about?
Your Honor, he's saying it's tit for tat because the argument that they had before October 13th, them going to court for child support. Prior to this child support, he's never paid child support. I've been with her for 18 months.
Just a second. Is that true? Because I only have it dating back till October. So the question was, have you ever been taken to court for child support?
No, they just started taking me to court in October.
Have you been paying child support?
Yeah, I've been paying child support for my kids before child support even ordered me to child support. It was, like I said, it was $50. That's what they ordered me. But before then, it was $250, $200, $100 apiece.
So why are you only paying $50 now?
Because
he's a liar.
The reason I'm paying...
No, if you were paying $250, Mr. Little, why
am I
only paying $50 now?
Because when I went to child support, they asked me, what do I have to show? I proved all my receipts. On top of that, I have bank statements, but I have CDs for my kids for when they get older. There's money in the bank account for them. So it's right. I've been paying what I'm supposed to have been paying. So, you know, the judge looked at it and was like, well, Ms. Tunnelly, he is doing what he's supposed to do.
Did you file tax returns last year?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because I didn't get a chance to.
What about the year before? What about the year before?
No.
Okay. Now I'd like to see the complaint that was sent to Child Protective Services about you.
What I have here is...
I have to see what he said about it.
Okay, this is the only letter that they sent us. They don't never give us the full complaint, but this is the letter.
I have to see. Listen, Mr. Rogers, that's part of the complaint. I can't help you if he said to the Child Protective Services, listen, my girlfriend doesn't keep the children clean, and she caused my son to have an accident in his pants. Well, that would be true. If he said something about you,
here it is right here.
And I'd like to see it.
And here's the unfounded letter to that, too.
And I have the paper from they sent me.
I'd like to see it. Did you call Child Protective Services on him?
I never called Child Protective Service on him.
Well, is what you're telling me somebody called Child Protective Services about you?
Yes.
Well, who do you know did that?
Them.
How do you know that? She says she didn't. Did you?
I didn't.
I don't know what this is about, sir. All I know is He was made the subject of a report that you acknowledge that you called in. And when I just asked you before, on what basis did you call Child Protective Services, there was zero complaint about him, which means you had no basis to call Child Protective Services about him.
Listen, they called me back when they found that he lived there, because if you look, this was a different address there where he lived at than the address that he has now. And when they called me, they asked me, do I know anybody who's supposed to be staying there? And I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. I had this. Well, I just pulled this off from the school, because the school found out what he is and what he does.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me, Your Honor. First of all, he knew about this, what he's trying to say, in the summertime.
What is this?
This is that he's a sex offender, registered sex offender, that he touched little boys and girls.
He was going around, just what he said. He was going around. This is an incident that happened when I was 19 years old. I made a mistake at 19.
Twice.
I apologized for it. It wasn't twice. It was one case. It was one case with 2 people, and it was 3 older adults.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I think you're all scamming the system one way or another. And I think there's a certain psychology that I'm seeing that's going on and that's making me very uncomfortable.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jelani Rogers says the father of his girlfriend's children, Donnell Little, owes for making false accusations to CPS and for defaming his character.
How old are you now?
I'm 30, about to be 31 next month.
Is this the last time you were arrested?
No, it wasn't. I got arrested on an unrelated fighting charge 3 years after that. Other than that, I haven't been in trouble in like 6 to 7 years, right? I'm no longer on parole. I don't have any restrictions, anything. Because if I had any restrictions, I wouldn't be able to live right across the street from the kid's school.
But if you look on it, the address is not the same.
Your Honor, I have proof that I now have joint custody of my kids. If I was a pedophile like you said I was.
My concern, Mr. Little.
My concern is about my boys.
No. If you were concerned about your boys, sir, you wouldn't be on the road. If you were concerned...
But that's the way I make a living.
The federal government doesn't know about that, sir. We understand each other? If you're concerned about your boys living with him and living with her, find a job in Yonkers and get custody of your children and stay in Yonkers and raise your children. But you only care about them when you're not on the road.
No, you can't tell me I don't care about my kids.
No. If I thought somebody was harming my children, I guarantee you I wouldn't be on the road. If I thought my children were being molested or not cared for, I would have been in the courthouse, sir, last summer.
I am in the courthouse.
No.
You can't tell me what I'm fighting my kids for, like, you know.
You're not fighting for your kids.
You can say everybody has
a lawyer?
As right now?
As right now, as we speak,
no,
Mr. Little. Well, since you don't pay taxes and you paid practically nothing in child support, then you should have enough money to have a lawyer to file an order to show cause alleging that your children are at risk and you want immediate custody.
Well, if the court...
You haven't seen him in a month.
Ma'am, if the court... It's the violation for her. I haven't seen my son because of her.
That's what I said to you,
If I'm walking up the hill
You're not following me, Mr. Little.
But if
I know you're used to being in control.
No, it's not me being in control, but you're telling me, you're like, oh, because they told you to pay less. It's not my fault. I was paying more before I was paying less. She chose to take me to court because they feel that I was making so much millions of dollars or whatever, you know what I mean? So they wanted to take me to child support then, because before I wasn't going to child support. She was getting everything for my sons as I gave it.
After he
with
got
no problem. They figured they seen a video, they seen a CD that came out. Oh, he got millions. Now let's take him to child support and try to get more money. It didn't happen that way because the bank statements and everything for my kids spoke for itself. So if the judge sit there and like, well, he's doing his thing, just tell me, and they asked her that she wanted it.
Mr. Little, listen to me very carefully.
Yes.
I'm 10 times ahead of you, sir.
Okay.
If you've got bank statements with you as custodians or in joint accounts for your children, whose social security number did you use to open the accounts?
Nice.
No, because then the federal government would take it if they knew that you were earning money and didn't file tax returns. That's what people do when they live in this country. If they make a video and they're making money, they file tax returns.
The label I'm signed to or whatever. They did that. They did their paperwork with that, with the filing and everything.
Everybody files taxes that earns money on April 15th of every year, Mr. Little. And my fault with you lies in the fact that I listened to the tape and you said that's what happens. It's tit for tat.
You heard a part when we was arguing back and forth.
I heard what you said.
Okay, you didn't hear the whole tape. He wouldn't play the whole tape. Why? You know what I mean? They called my mother's house to speak to me.
Actually,
I didn't want to speak to them. I didn't want to speak to them.
What does that have to do with Child Protective Services?
Because he's talking to me. We talking to the man. He's like Child Protective. I like, dog, I call Child Protective because of this.
Because of what?
Because, one, I don't want you around my kids.
Yeah, but you knew, sir. You knew about these convictions during the summer.
No,
2009.
No.
Conviction
not in
the
summer. No summer.
Well, when did you find out about it?
December. The same time with the CPS.
Your Honor.
In December.
Your Honor.
Yes.
The day of his kid's birthday was just August 9th. He came up there and confronted me about why did I say that I wasn't taking care of my kids. I asked him why was he going around passing out flyers. He knew that, matter of fact, it was the last week in July. He knew that from July on to the birthday party, 3 weeks, all this drama was happening because he was passing out flyers.
It stated in your Facebook that when you came on it.
When were you notified, sir, that someone had made a complaint about you to Child Protective Services?
In December.
And who did you think did it?
I know who did it. Think, okay.
Who did you think did it?
Miss Tully and Mr. Rogers.
How many other children do you have?
I have a daughter.
With whom?
With my baby mother. With my other baby mother.
Have you ever been in court with the mother of your daughter?
No, ma'am.
Do you support her?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
A lot. He lives here.
Sit down.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
How much?
Whatever my baby moms tell me that she needs this for my daughter, she needs pictures, she needs this or that, whatever.
I think that you called Child Protective Services on him out of spite.
No, ma'am.
But I also think that you probably all deserve each other. I think that you probably use Child Protective Services as a weapon.
This is not the first time.
I think that you all use Child Protective Services as a weapon, and I think you're all scamming the system one way or another. He works, he's not supposed to live there, you get public housing, you get food stamps, all of which you didn't tell me, you also get unemployment insurance, that's what you told me. You haven't paid taxes in years. There's a certain psychology that I'm seeing that's going on and that's making me very uncomfortable. So there's no question in my mind, Mr. Little, that you called on this one occasion Child Protective Services on Mr. Rogers out of spite. As you say, tit for tat. But I'm not sure that you were the only one who did it. So on your complaint, Mr. Rogers, I'm awarding you $500, not $5,000. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's all.
Excuse you may step down, sir, ma'am, wait here. Yeah, this is case number 158 on the calendar in the matter of Levine versus Rodriguez. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Levine, this used to be your boyfriend, and according to your complaint, he owes you for a plane ticket and for a cell phone bill.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez says the cell phone was your idea in order to keep in touch with him, and he never used the plane ticket.
Yes.
How long did this romance go on? For how many months?
About 8 months.
And when did you get involved with his cell phone business?
In July of '06.
How long had you known him?
7 months.
So you got involved in his cell phone business a month before you broke up?
Correct.
Tell me how that came about.
He had been complaining he had wanted a new phone, and he was on his father's plan. His father would not allow him to get a new phone, and we had discussed getting him a new phone with a different carrier so that we could talk with free minutes. Also, we had a verbal agreement that if I bought him a new phone, he would pay me back as soon as he got his check that month in July.
Where were you working?
I was a nanny. I was working as a nanny.
And what was he doing?
Nothing.
Well, when was he supposed to pay you for the cell phone?
Well, he said he was getting another check in July from the school district.
What kind of work does he do for the school district?
He was a campus supervisor.
When was the bill that you claim he owes you? Was it a bill or was it the actual cell phone that
There's two. I paid for the cell phone in July, and then there was also a bill that has accrued since we started the phone.
How much was the phone itself?
$229.30.
And how much was the bill?
The bill now is $724.38.
For how many months?
That was the last statement I got was in March of this last year.
Why didn't you just cut off the phone?
I did end up shutting off the phone. That was after he racked up all of the charges. He had promised to pay the bill every month. I had set up the bill to go to his address. His name was on it as well. My name was just used for credit purposes. So he got the statement every single month in the mail to his address, and he told me he was paying it.
You mean after you broke up?
Yes. Well, when I set up the phone in July, he
said he would pay it, but this $724 isn't for 1 month or 2 months. And according to you, you broke up in August.
We did break up in August, and I paid the first bill in September. And then
you did? Why?
Because he had called me. I was out of town. He called me and told me he needed the bill paid, and I didn't want it to go into collections at that time, so I did pay it over the phone.
And what about the next month's bill?
He told me he paid it. I was on the phone with Verizon. He said I sent a check.
Let's talk about the cell phone. Get the plane ticket in a second. Talk.
She knew that I was out of work. Working for the school district, it's a 10.5-month job.
Well, then that's what you do for a living. You work for a school district, that's a 10.5-month job.
Right. And she was well aware.
Don't tell me what she was aware of, sir. I want to hear your explanation of needing a new telephone.
I did not need a new telephone. I was perfectly fine with the one that I had underneath my father's plan. The only reason that she wanted me to have the cell phone was so that we could talk for free. And we could text message for free.
Okay, so as one of your famous, fabulous 5 friends? Or
something along those lines, yeah.
I don't do that. I don't have 5 people that I want to speak to that often. Let's discount the phone for a second, Mr. Rodriguez. What about your cell phone bill? Why didn't you pay that? What?
I had no money. I was out of work. I wasn't out of work, but I wasn't working.
Well, get a job, sir.
I had a job.
Then don't talk on a cell phone.
We broke up in August, and after August, the phone was never used.
Oh, show me. Can I see a bill if that's true? If the phone was never used after August, is that what you're telling me?
The phone, once we broke up, the phone was...
That's the bill.
No, all I want to know is, you're saying to me, once you broke up in August, the phone was never used.
Correct.
He did not rack up $500 in a month.
Oh, no. I need the bills from September, October, November. This doesn't tell me anything, madam.
It says what the charges are.
For what month?
For all of them. The phone wasn't shut off until December.
I understand that the phone wasn't shut off until December, but there's a factual dispute. If he says that he did not use the phone after you broke up, then lends some credence to his story that you decided to get this phone so that the two of you could either chat or text message each other for nothing. One phone bill doesn't do it for me. Do you understand?
I understand that, yes.
Do you have the others with you?
I do not have any other phone bills with me.
Here, give this back to her for now.
That was the only way I was able to get a hold of him, was his cell phone. So I did talk to him on the cell phone.
That's not my statement to you, madam. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Fine. So, since you didn't bring that with you, I'm going to dismiss the cell phone portion of your claim without prejudice. You can certainly sue him for that amount of money when you have the appropriate documents to back up your story. You don't have them today. Now let's get to the plane ticket. When was the plane ticket purchased?
July of '06.
July what?
I believe it was the 14th.
And when did you officially break up with him?
The last week of August.
When was this trip supposed to take place?
We were supposed to leave September 1st, and we broke up the very week before.
9/1. And where were you going?
We were going to Pennsylvania and Cleveland.
For what?
Pennsylvania to visit family, Cleveland to the Cleveland Clinic, and then to the Canton to the Football Hall of Fame.
When did you purchase the ticket?
July 14th of '06.
Is that correct?
I'm not sure what the date was.
Well, I'm sure she has documents showing when she purchased the ticket and when you were supposed to leave.
I've never had, in my possession, I've never had the ticket, so I don't know when she bought it.
It doesn't make any difference, because what I found interesting was you said that the reason you were going to Pennsylvania is to attend her grandfather's funeral. That's what you say. And I said to myself, well, how do you plan for something like that 2-3 weeks in advance? You know?
No.
I don't know whether her grandfather is alive or not, but you don't...
Her grandfather did pass away.
Yes.
On the trip that we were supposed to go to, her grandfather did pass away.
But he did not pass away.
Shh. I have no idea what you just said to me.
Her grandfather passed away on the trip that we were supposed to go to.
But you hadn't planned on going there for his funeral unless he had some sort of premonition that he was going, sir.
We did, though, ma'am. It was something that was known for a while that
he was going to die while you were there?
Not while we were there, but
you know,
that he was
sound
close.
ridiculous. You know, you sound ridiculous. You mean she wanted to go visit her grandfather because he was sick?
Right.
That's not what you said here. You said that you planned to go to Pennsylvania to attend her grandfather's funeral.
Right.
He's not too swift. Okay, tell me about the plane ticket.
We were going to go visit family in Pennsylvania and then move on to Cleveland. He was going to accompany me and my mother. My mother actually purchased the tickets and spoke with Rory on the phone. And
perfect. Can you step up? Your last name is?
Randall.
Miss Randall, tell me about the conversation you had with Mr. Rodriguez about this plane ticket.
On the day that we were purchasing the tickets, I spoke with him on the phone, and he told me he would reimburse Stacy for the airfare. And at the same time, we opened up the airline's frequent flyer mileage account for him, set that up, and it was my clear understanding from him during that conversation.
I don't want to hear your clear understanding.
Sorry.
I want to hear what he said to you.
He said he would reimburse Stacy for the cost of the airline ticket.
And then what happened? Thank you.
We broke up.
Yes.
And there was no reason for me to go on a trip with him if we weren't together.
Absolutely right, sir.
And at the same time as
was the ticket refundable?
It was non-refundable. I tried transferring it into my name so that I could use it. I was not able to do that. I told him that as soon as I knew that. I said, here's the ticket. You know, you can use it for up to a year later. Did not give it to him because he had not paid for it. And he still has until July 14th of this year to use it.
Did you have that discussion with him?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember that discussion when she said it's non-transferable, but you can use it for up to a year?
Yes.
Well, then you have to pay for it.
When we had talked originally about buying this ticket, I told her, just as a cell phone, I did not have money because
I believe her mother, that her mother had the discussion with you, sir.
And
I believe her mother. I do not believe you that you didn't have that discussion with her mother.
I'm not saying that I didn't have the discussion with her mother, but what I'm saying is that I was out of work.
I don't care whether you were out of work.
And I let them know that I couldn't pay them immediately.
That's a different story. The word is immediately. So you don't intend to be unemployed forever.
When we had broken up, so there was no reason for me to even go on a trip with them.
Of course not, sir, but the ticket is non-refundable. I want you to try to expand your brain a little bit, Mr. Rodriguez. The fact that you broke up and you had non-refundable ticket, let's say instead of going to Pennsylvania, you were going with her to Cancun, Mexico, and you purchased 2 non-refundable tickets. She put it on her credit card. You broke up. There's no question. You said, listen, we're not going on this trip. She's not going to go alone. I'm not going to go alone. But the airline says to you, and they say to you, listen, if you canceled, we're not giving you money back, but you can reschedule within the next 6 months. She put it on her credit card. Do you think you're responsible to pay her for those tickets?
No.
You're wrong. You are. You have an opportunity to use the tickets, but you can't say, I'm not going to touch those tickets. You promised her mother that you were going to pay her back for the tickets. You had an opportunity to use them for a year. You should have used them. And I suggest you get your behind into gear because you still have a couple of days to use them. Figure out where you want to go. If you want to go to the Hall of Fame, that's a great place to go for a weekend. How much were the tickets?
$331.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $331. With regard to the cell phone bill, you bring the right proof. Either I'll entertain your application or another court of competent jurisdiction will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Have a happy life.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dettenheim versus Dettenheim. Step forward, please.
Eve Dettenheim is suing her sister, Carol Dettenheim, for damaging her car when she ran into a deer. Carol says she offered her sister a portion of the deer meat as payment.
Miss Dettenheim, this is your sister.
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, she took your car. Your neighbors?
Yes.
She took your car, you say without permission, had an accident, you want her to pay for the damage to your car.
Yes.
Your sister says she really had your permission because she used to borrow the car all the time. You left the back door open, she grabbed the keys, she needed some diapers or something, she wanted to go to the store. There was an accident, it was unavoidable, she hit a deer, damaged the car, and her defense is you should have had better insurance. Is that your defense?
I thought she had full coverage, Your Honor.
What made you think that?
I just didn't think.
You didn't think? Who do you rely on to do your thinking?
I just use it all the time, and she wasn't home, so I went over there to get the key and went, and the deer just jumped out in front of me.
Was the deer hurt?
Oh, it died.
Did you wait for somebody to come and take the carcass away?
No, I put pine straw over it and took the antler and went and got it later.
Went and got what later?
The deer.
What'd you do with it?
Ate it.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am, and she even offered me some, but I'm not having rigor mortis stew. I know.
It did not have rigor mortis. I went back.
That is just sick.
Pictures of your car, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you live, Miss Dettenheim?
Louisiana.
Where in Louisiana?
Hainesville.
How long have you and your sister been neighbors?
For 1 year.
Who moved close to whom?
She moved close to me.
You have an estimate to fix this car?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please. Are you angry with your sister?
A little bit. I feel like she needs to own up to the responsibility that she did damage my car and make what is wrong right.
So, what do you think?
Well, that night when I told her about the wreck, I thought it was just a headlight. And, you know, we talked about it and looked at everything. But then the next morning, she come over there just hollering at me, banging on my door, telling me how I owed her and all this. And I've helped her with a lot of stuff in the past and has made my life. I had to move because, I mean, I still have the house, but I can't stay with her. She'll do stuff like rev up her engine in the morning, trying to wake up my son and stuff, trying to make my life hard, and it's become an issue. It's like the Hatfield McCoys or something. So,
do you work?
No, ma'am.
How do you support yourself?
My boyfriend.
Does he live with you?
Well, I'm staying with him now, just because she's hard to be next to.
Well, when's the last time you were employed?
I'm a student right now. It's been almost a year. I've been a stay-at-home mom.
A student of what?
I'm going to be a bail bondsman.
And how often do you go to school for that?
Right now, it's just a little course right now.
So why don't you work?
Because I don't have to.
Well, you have to because you owe your sister $1,300.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have to owe $1,300.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,300. Thank you very much.
Your Honor.
Go back to Louisiana and be happy.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
And now the next case.
All parties on Levine versus Rodriguez. Step forward, please.
From a case earlier today, Stacy Levine claims ex-boyfriend Rory Rodriguez owes for an unpaid cell phone bill. Judge Judy adjourned the case, directing Stacy to procure the appropriate phone records.
Miss Levine, I am advised by my court officer that you were able to secure subsequent phone bills. If my recollection is correct, when we last did the initial part of your case, Mr. Rodriguez says that he did not use the phone after the two of you broke up in August.
Correct. I have about 60
of
pages.
2006. And you said that he racked up a substantial phone bill in the triple digits and used the phone after August. So that's where we left off, because the bill that you had did not demonstrate when the balance was accrued. Do you remember the telephone number of the phone that you had that Miss Levine was paying for?
No, I don't.
What was the telephone number?
510-89.
Who was this lady?
This is my girlfriend.
Since when?
Since March of this year.
Well, she wouldn't know the old number. You
No,
only
she
know
wouldn't.
his new phone number, right?
Yeah.
Shh. What's his new phone number?
51896, I believe.
96?
I think so. He just got a new one a couple weeks ago.
What's with him and cell phones?
There's certain people I want to call me, and there's certain people I don't want to call me.
So you mean you change girlfriends, you change your cell phone?
No.
Can I please see the bills? What was his phone number?
5171.
That sound right to you, sir?
Yes.
See what month that is? Mr. Rodriguez.
September.
$378.
Mom.
Your mother. She wasn't calling your mother, right? And when that was September 30th. So I guess you were mistaken that you didn't use it in September, right? Here we go. Now take September. Now, Mr. Rodriguez, you know what we're going to do?
No.
Would you like to do October?
Sure.
Or would you just like to pay her the money that you owe her for the cell phone?
I can pay her.
Perfect. Thank you very much. You may step back. How much is a cell phone bill?
$724.38.
We're adding on that to the plane ticket. Then you will be a free man, Mr. Rodriguez. Good?
Good.
Perfect. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out. It's case number 152 on the calendar in the matter of Heath versus Coleman. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. Heath, Mrs. Coleman is your neighbor, and this is her son.
Affirmative.
Hmm?
Affirmative.
You are 17.
Yes, ma'am.
But large for your age.
Yes.
And it is your claim that Miss Coleman's son assaulted you.
Assault and battery, ma'am.
Depends on where you live. And you want to be compensated. And Miss Coleman and her son say that you started it, and he just finished it. So, I'm going to start with you. What's your first name?
Marquise.
How long have you and Mr. Heath been neighbors?
I don't know how long he's lived there, but I lived there for 2 years.
How long have you been there, Mr. Heath?
Since May of 2006.
So a little less than a year.
Affirmative.
A year. Have you gotten along for that year that you've been living there?
Up until recently.
What happened recently, Mr. Heath?
On April 25th of 2007, I was outside my door. Mr. Peppers was also outside his door. He was calling me a pedophile. He was saying I should never, never, never say the name of his little sister. I admit I may have started behavior that was more of an interest to a proctologist. But
I don't know what you mean by that, sir.
I was upset that being called a pedophile after 30 years of being a registered nurse here in California.
So he was calling you names and told you never to mention the name of his sister. What did you say to him?
Well, he challenged his authority by claiming that if I said in the name of his sister one more time, that he would beat me down. Being that I was very upset because of the general rumor within the neighborhood of me being a pedophile, I did say her name. Her name is Sanji.
And then what happened?
I repeated it a few times as he came
So you taunted
closer.
him. You were a grown-up.
Yes, I was an angry
You were a
grown-up.
grown-up. You were an angry grown-up.
Yes.
And he had called you a vile name.
Quite,
ahead.
especially when I have no record anywhere.
I understand you have no record anywhere.
Okay.
Got it. So you were taunting him, and what did he do?
He pushed me, and then, you know...
How did he push you, Mr. Heath?
I do believe, I will take his word for it, that he belly bumped me.
Okay.
I turned to catch myself, and I was struck on the back. I cannot say exactly if it was him or his friend LJ, but I did sustain an injury to my back.
Him?
He was right next to him, shoulder to shoulder.
So they both came over to you after you had repeated his sister's name several times.
Affirmative.
And he belly bumped you. When you turned around, somebody hit you in the back.
Yes, well, turning around in that, I was trying to catch myself as I was falling.
And as a result of that, were you injured?
Yes, I have a report from my chiropractor that I have injuries from T6, that's thoracic spine vertebrae 6 to 7. These were significant enough for me not to be able to work for 2 months, which I have documentation from my employer as such.
All right, Mr. Pep, let me hear you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
On the day of that incident, the day before, we had got into like 2 days before we got into an argument.
About what?
I was sitting outside because my friends stayed next door to him. And I was sitting outside talking to them, and then my sister...
Talking to whom?
My friends that stay next door to him. And so I'm sitting outside, and then my mom calls me, and she sent my sister to come get me. And my sister comes, and she says, Marquise, your mom wants you. And then so he reaches over, and she's in between these stairs. He reaches over and pats her on the head. And I say, man, don't touch my sister.
Why not?
Because, like, I don't know what it is, but ever since he's moved there, I've been, like, you know, real uncomfortable around him. And he's like, he acts real, you know, friendly and stuff towards kids, like, you know, little girls. And I just, with my sister, I keep, you know, I'm overprotective about my sister. And so...
But he just touched her on the top of the head.
I know, but it was like the way how he did it. Like, you know, he rubbed his hand through her hair. And, like, you know, and I didn't like the way it happened, but I wasn't disrespectful to him. I just said, can you don't
Fine,
touch my
you
sister?
said, don't touch my sister. That's all you said to him.
Yeah, but as I said that, my mom walked out, and I told her what happened. And then so they got into an argument, And
why did you get into an argument, Miss Coleman, with him?
As I walked out, I heard George yelling at my son, and all I heard was the end of the conversation. And I asked
what
him,
did you hear?
He was calling my son ignorant and a pervert for saying what he said or whatever.
Well, did you say anything to him?
I said, don't touch my sister's head, and he called me a pervert because he said that I was looking at him as that, like, I don't know why he said it, but he just called me a pervert because I told him not to touch my sister.
And then?
That's when I came out. And I heard them arguing, and my son said, George touched Sanji, and that's when I went to tell him he doesn't have to put his hands on her, do not touch her.
Did your son tell you how he touched her?
No, well,
why didn't you get that information, Miss Coleman?
I did. When I came over, he said he touched Sanji on the head. And right then, when she said he touched Sanji, I just verbally told him, you know, to keep his hands off my daughter, and I asked my children to come into our yard.
Okay, so that was a couple of days before.
Yes, ma'am.
And then what happened, Mr. Pepper?
And then the day of the incident, we were outside, you know, we played basketball and all of that outside, and George comes out and was playing the guitar to the little girl in the window, and I was just sitting there.
Playing a guitar?
Yeah, playing a guitar and singing to her. But he's sitting there playing a guitar to her, and that's not my relative or anything, so I didn't say anything about that. And somehow he got into an argument with other kids that was on the block, and so they were arguing, and somehow they said to him something about, oh, you touch kids and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I touch a lot of kids. And he started naming off kids on the street, like girls and stuff that he's touched. And then he somehow said Sanji's name, my sister. And then so that was when I got into the conversation. And I asked him, I said, man, don't talk about my sister.
Did you call him a pedophile?
No, I've never called him a pedophile.
Did you call him a pervert?
No, I've never called him a pervert.
What did you call him?
I didn't call him anything. I just said, do not touch my sister.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So I had chest bumped him, and he just stumbled back and hit the wall and purposely fell to the ground. And he made a lot of like weird noise and stuff that, you know, you could tell that it was being acted.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. George Heath claims neighbor 17-year-old Marquise Peppers falsely accused him of being a pedophile and then assaulted him.
Okay, and what did he say to you?
And he got into an argument with me, calling me a pervert and that I'm immature and stuff because I'm calling him out on stuff. And I'm like, you know, I didn't say anything. All I said was, don't touch my sister. And then so we're sitting here, we're arguing. And I stepped back, and my friend was with me also, and he was talking to him. He was like, there's no need for you to say her name. And I pulled him back, and we're about to walk away. And George says it again. He was like, oh, what do you mean, Sanji? And I was like, don't say her name. And then so he takes off his glasses, and he untucks his shirt, and he steps up to me, and he says, what do you mean, Sanji? Sanji, Sanji? And so I had chest bumped him, and he, you know, it was like a fake stumble type, and he just stumbled back and hit the wall and purposely fell to the ground. And he made a lot of like weird noise and stuff that, you know, you could tell that it was being act. And like some kids was laughing at him and stuff because he was acting it out. And his wife said, I'm calling the police. And then so I looked at him, and then I turned around and my sister was calling me. So I turned around, picked up my sister, and then I told my friend, I was like, let's go. And then we walked to his house.
Mr. Pepper.
Yes, ma'am.
What facts do you have that suggest to you that Mr. Heath's intentions with regard to the kids who play in the neighborhood, either singing to them or patting your sister on the head, is anything other than just genuine caring for children?
It's because of the way that he does it. It's real weird. You know, I don't feel comfortable around him. And for that, I don't feel that my sister should be around him. I've never been disrespectful to him or anything.
You assaulted him, sir.
No, ma'am, but
yes, you did.
Incident,
you assaulted him, sir. He was taunting you, which is not very smart of a grown-up man to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Not very smart to a big 17-year-old, you know, who certainly outweighs him and certainly outmuscles him. But you have no right to put your body on him in any way. You should have been smarter, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
but I had to confront the lie.
Mr. Heath, have you ever been arrested for a sexual offense on a child?
No, ma'am.
The next question is irrelevant, therefore, and you've never been convicted. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
You have any children of your own?
Yes, ma'am. We have 4 biological children and 1 foster child.
How old is the foster child?
She is 32.
So you raised her?
Affirmative.
And your 4 children, how old are they?
We have a boy who's now Sergeant George Heath of the 11th 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment. We have twin boys, Pete and Repeat. One is Staff Sergeant Joseph Heath of the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment. Our other son is Specialist David Heath, who recently was, last week, was taken out by shrapnel in Baghdad, but he's doing just fine. He'll be in the United States today. And then my daughter, Rebecca Heath, she's 23. She's a certified nurse's aide and a senior in health administration.
Have any of these children visited your home?
Yes.
You live in your home with your wife?
Yes.
How long have you been married?
31 years, ma'am.
Mr. Pepper.
Yes, ma'am.
We are supposed to rejoice in the differences among people in this country. That means that not everybody is made the same.
I know that.
Some people say affirmative rather than yes. Some people may appear to be, to you, a little peculiar, but that doesn't make them a pervert.
No, ma'am, I've never...
That doesn't make them strange. That wouldn't inspire me to say to somebody who's the father of 4 children, don't put your hands on my sister. Now, if you said to me that he hit her in the behind or tapped her in the butt, I would say, go over there and you can knock his lights out. But what you told me was he patted her on the head, and you just didn't like the way that looked. And you went outside, and all you heard was your son saying to you, he touched your daughter, and you blew. You didn't listen. I think that what you have to do is celebrate the differences amongst people, Mr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. You have perfect right to say to your daughter, listen, I don't want you to go over to neighbors, strangers, or whatever. But your son has absolutely no business, despite the fact that Mr. Keith was not smart.
Yes, ma'am.
Has no right to go over there and chest bump him, belly bump him, or whatever other kind of bump him he did. His lawsuit asks for $1,700. He's going to get that. You have a counterclaim. Counterclaim is that he filed false charges against you with Child Protective Services. When did he file charges against you with Child Protective Services?
Per the letter, it says on 5/2 that there was an investigation.
And what makes you think that it was Mr. Heath who filed those charges?
Okay, when we went to court for a restraining order, that was denied. Mr. Heath subpoenaed the CP.
Who went to court for a restraining order?
George filed a restraining order on me and my son.
Well, he should have.
Right.
Your son used force against him. Was it granted?
No, they were both denied.
Oh, that's ridiculous. In my judgment, it's ridiculous. What grounds do you have to file for an application for a protective order against Mr. Heath?
Because when the incident happened, my daughter constantly goes over there, and it's like he's everywhere my daughter is, he's behind her. Like it's in a place that he goes across the street that my daughter plays at. He's never over there, but every time my daughter is over there, George is over there. You know what I'm saying? It's like it seems like everywhere my daughter is, I see George, normal places where he doesn't go. He's normally in his yard. Like he comes in my yard and uses the water hose. He was told by the judge, he was told by the police officers that he keeps calling on me to stay away from us. We were told to stay away from each other. I agreed. But he constantly, like, if my daughter's in the yard, I don't let her out the yard because of the situation. I'll make her stay in the yard and ride the bike. George will come over, open the gate, and use the water hose, or, you know, just do stuff to, you know, to have me try to have confrontation towards us.
What proof do you have that Mr. Heath called?
I don't have proof that he called, but for our restraining order, he had all the information. How does he know that CPS came to my house? When we went to court, he filed a subpoena for the CPS worker to come to our restraining order. That's how I assumed that he called, because...
Did you have that information, Mr. Heath?
The reason I know that Ms. Johnson is a child protective worker is that she was at Ms. Coleman's door, and when I saw her, and I said, I don't think Ms. Coleman's there. She asked, you know, who are you? I identified myself and where I live, and then she identified herself, and we went into my apartment, and we had a discussion concerning, well, actually, one of the things we discussed is whether or not I am a pedophile. Obviously, I'm here, not arrested, so she felt there was no basis for the allegation that I'm a pedophile.
Did you make a call to Child Protective Services, sir?
Can I leave that under confidentiality?
See what I'm saying?
Well,
yes
you
or no?
See,
I'll answer if you,
no, well,
if you want me to.
The point is, Mr. Heath, if you had grounds in your judgment to place a call to Child Protective Services, because that's her counterclaim. She says that you had no basis. She believes that you did call.
Okay, that would be a different question. Would I have, if I called, would I have a basis? The answer is yes, I would.
Well, tell me what basis you had if you had called.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm sorry, I don't consider that very funny. The basis I have is that I have seen her use the most unusual type of child rearing, curse words at her daughter. I've seen her with an open hand strike her daughter in the head. Also, I am quite suspicious that her daughter has some type of minimal brain damage. I'm not sure if it's cerebral palsy like my wife.
Shh, quiet. You can't be quiet, you'll leave. Do you understand? Good. Go ahead.
I am not sure if it's cerebral palsy, or I'm not sure if it's attention deficit disorder, but I know she has fine motor coordination problems because one of the things I have done with the children is to plant a garden. And when Sanji came up to plant, she could not follow my simple instructions that I could get children half her age to do. So I am just...
Put your hand down. Go ahead.
I am quite concerned. I do know...
So that would be the basis. If you had called...
If I had called.
If you had called, that would be the reason that you called.
Affirmative.
Go ahead.
Okay. As far as me, the allegation was that I called my daughter the B word and I hit her with an open fist. My daughter is really, I would never, I do not use that word. I don't like that word. I don't like to be called that word because my mother called me that, and I would never call my children that, no matter how angry or what we were going through. So that's just ridiculous. And as far as me hitting my daughter with an open fist, there's just no
open hand.
Yeah, open hand. There's no way. I don't. You can ask my son. She doesn't even get in trouble. So I don't even know.
Your counterclaim is denied. You owe Mr. Heath $1,700, which is what he's asking for this assault. Mr. Heath may be a peculiar man. He may not have exercised good judgment when he taunted you by repeating your sister's name. It doesn't give you license to put your hand or your body, and you have a big body, sir, on another human being. You have no right to do that. As I said, there is no indication today that Mr. Heath is anything other than maybe a slight bit odd.
I resemble that remark.
Right. But that's it. And we celebrate that kind of stuff in this country. You have an absolute right to say to your daughter, I don't want you to play with Mr. Heath. I don't want you alone with him. Don't go to his house. But you can't put your hands on him. Do you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,700. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah, this is case number 171 on the calendar, the matter of Nelson versus Nelson. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Nelson, this is your son.
Yes.
You were married to his mother, and did you formally adopt him?
Yes.
And you are now divorced from his mother? When was that divorce?
September.
Of?
06.
According to your complaint, you believe that your son owes you for a car that you gave to him, titled in his name, but with a condition. And the condition was the car would be returned to you if and when he joined the Navy.
He told me he was already signed up for the Navy in January.
Right. So that was the condition that you indicated.
To get him off of a motorcycle that he was riding rather recklessly.
Right. And you said to him, here's a car, putting it in your name. When you go into the Navy, I want you to give it back.
Right.
Did you ever go into the Navy?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, I read your whole complaint, and your whole complaint has sort of a convoluted story about certain trust that you had in your son to do the right thing. He took the car, he sold it to somebody else, then he took it back, then he sold it to another person. Bottom line is, I read your complaint very carefully, sir. And your complaint is clear. Even if I believe what you said in your complaint, which was you gave him this car, you transferred the title to him, is that correct? He insured the car himself, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you pay for the insurance yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how long did you drive the car?
Only for a couple months, Your Honor.
Then you sold it and bought something else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, stop playing with your papers.
Okay.
Because you're not going to understand what I'm saying to you unless you pay attention.
Gotcha.
If I believe what you say in your complaint, you made him a conditional gift. And the condition of that gift was that the car would be returned to you when he entered the Navy. But he has not entered the Navy.
Okay.
So how can you get the car back? Or the value of the car?
Okay.
Do you understand? I know that you're angry with him. I don't know exactly why. Maybe we can resolve that. But the conditional gift that you made to him it becomes a permanent gift if he never joins the Navy. Is it your intention to join the Navy?
No, Your Honor.
Why not?
I decided to keep pursuing my medical field that I am now.
And not join the Navy? Okay. Ever. When did you give him the car, Mr. Nelson, just for my own information?
September 27, 06.
And you titled it in that same month. And when did you sell the car, sir?
Down in October, around.
Who'd you sell it to?
I didn't personally meet them. My stepfather actually had it in Desert Hot Springs, and he sold it for me.
To whom did you sell it?
To a private party out of Banning.
Stand up. How much did you sell it for?
Your Honor, Christopher owed me some money, so he had gotten another vehicle. So in lieu of the money that he owed me,
what did he owe you money for?
Personal loans.
Explain it to me.
Just everyday living, helping him with insurance, paying for some of his tuitions through furthering his education in the EMS field, things of that nature.
How much did he owe you?
About $4,500. Educations are expensive.
How long have you been married to his mother?
Since July of 06.
You were divorced in September of 06. So how could you be married in July of 06?
It was a typo on the court's behalf, and we're since straightening that out in litigation.
What do you mean you're straightening that out? What does that mean?
Well, what it means is there was a typo that instead of putting a 9 when the divorce would have been finalized, it would look like a 7. So we went forward with the wedding. Come to find out later that it was a typo, so we're in litigation now at the courts to rectify that.
Why don't you just get married again?
We will, sir. Ma'am, when we're done with this. Pardon me.
May I reiterate?
Just a second. So let's assume he owed you $4,500 in the relatively short time that you've been together with his mother. How much did you sell the car for?
That exact amount.
To whom?
I don't know the name of the person. I took the car to my place of employment, placed a for sale sign in it, and 5 hours later sold the car. I don't know the name of the people. I really didn't expect this.
A man or a woman?
It was a man for his daughter.
Did you get a check or cash?
I received cash.
Do you know that I don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth?
I'm sorry.
Do you know
I'm sorry.
that I don't really believe a word that's coming out of your mouth? Do you trust him?
I know it was true.
Well, let me tell you something. Most of what he just told me was not true.
I beg to differ, Your Honor.
Oh,
under this statement,
you can do all you like, sir, but I understand.
I just swore between God and this court to tell the truth.
Quiet. I understand why Mr. Nelson is annoyed. The truth of the matter is, he made a conditional gift, and it didn't work out the way he had assumed it was work out. He certainly wasn't giving his son a car to give to you, to give you money. And so I can understand why he's annoyed. I understand why you're annoyed, sir.
Thank you.
Okay?
When I get a chance, I'd like to explain.
Go ahead.
First, the car was stolen from her. She has a judgment on it.
A judgment? What do you mean it was stolen from you?
He sold the car to her, not to him.
Who sold the car to her?
Christopher sold the car to her.
Which is Christopher?
Christopher.
You sold the car to this lady?
For $7,500.
I'm speaking.
No, Your Honor.
You did not.
No, Your Honor.
There's the judgment.
I'd like to explain.
Go ahead.
When I received the car, I heard from a friend that I believe Kelly was looking for a car around $5,000, $7,500 or so. And so me and her were talking and everything, but she only had about $2,500 to give me. I knew she was going through some hard time, so we made a verbal agreement that she was to have possession of the car and I was to retain ownership until final payment. After a couple of weeks, I kept getting the same response that...
How much money did she give you?
She gave me $2,500 as a down payment. And then I was still waiting on $5,000 when she went down to her security lockbox at quote-unquote Pachanga. Well, after many weeks of trying to talk to her and give me the same excuse, it wasn't until after I talked to a lawyer and a detective from the Murrieta Police Department about the legal part of it that I was in full right to go and repossess my vehicle.
What'd you do with the $2,500?
She took me to court.
And what happened with it?
I even told her that I would give her the back.
What happened with it?
I was unable to attend.
What do you mean you were unable to attend?
Your class.
I had a class that I was already enrolled in to further my...
Go ahead.
I have a witness in the back.
You didn't know you could appeal.
For what?
Christopher.
I will testify
To what?
to whatever you want to hear.
Well, I
He'll
don't want to testify to whatever
he
I
will
want to hear.
testify to the fact that he did steal the car. He was paid in
Just
full.
a second. Just a second. You have a judgment against him for $7,500?
She has the judgment.
You have a judgment against him, so there's no question.
Here's
court
the
has
bill
already
of sales for the other car.
A court has already ruled on that.
On that one.
On this one.
But the other witness will testify that he did take the car.
No, I got it. He said he repossessed the car, and he couldn't go to the hearing, to the court date, because he had a class.
Okay.
And then he took the car back and he gave it to his stepfather, who sold it, according to him, for
Here's the bill of sales
$4,500.
on
Can I see the bill of sale?
The ones that he can't find.
Your last name is Mater?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have a bill of sale, sir, with your signature on it, indicating that you sold this car to Joanna
That's
for
the name?
$5,700.
I don't recall it being 57.
Well, why don't you take a look at this, sir?
Okay.
I don't remember it being that much either.
Obviously, this is a second-generated bill of sale with the price altered. I'm not a liar. I am a man of integrity. Have fun.
Listen, I don't have to get into all of this. You can sit down. I can understand why your father is angry with you. He made a gift to you. He was hoping that you would be able to use that gift and drive safely with that gift. And he didn't do it to line the pockets of anybody else, including taking care of the bills that you allegedly owed to your stepfather. He was trying to help you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, is there any reason why you did that?
What, Your Honor?
Took a wonderful gesture and made it not wonderful anymore.
It wasn't a wonderful gesture, Your Honor.
No, it wasn't?
No, Your Honor.
Well, let me ask you this question, sir. Do you think that your father could have sold that car to somebody else? Put your hand down. Well, you sold it to somebody for $7,500. He sold it to somebody for $5,700. Don't you think your father could have sold it to somebody else for $5,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's an answer. Instead, he gave it to you. Write it off. Mr. Nelson, legally, I can't help you because the condition was that you get it back.
Is what it is.
You get it back if he joined the Navy. Didn't join the Navy. He's not going to join the Navy. Unfortunate. Sometimes your best intentions are not necessarily.
His words were he signed up for the Navy in January.
I understand that.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Good
Your
enough.
case is
Thank you.
dismissed. That's all. You owe him an apology.
That'll never happen.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It is what it is. Liars, cheats, and thieves. The whole family.
He can't handle the fact that he has no control.
The captain of the fire department is less than honest.
The judge tried to attack my character, which was wrong. I was truthful as much as I could remember.
He's using his position to get personal vendettas.
He's jealous that I